Welcome to TCH Live Austin. I'm your host tonight, Kyle Frisbee, joined by Uncle T.
Hey.
Got some 2-5 action going for you here from TCH Austin. South by Southwest going on, but we'll have some exciting poker here for you tonight. We'll get things kicked off here in a moment with a bomb pot. Each player buying in for between 1.5 and 2K. See those stacks build as we go along here.
Yeah, Bertram's coming in a little short, but happy Monday, Poker Mamas, Poker Papas, and Poker whatever else.
It is possible to run up $500, so we'll root for Bertram.
We will.
We've had him on the stream. He ran well last time, so
Good.
hoping for a good spin up again tonight. Kristen will get us started. She's in the box dealing the cards.
Yeah, and we got Mel producing tonight. What up, Mel?
Don't forget about producer Mel. She's giving us long distance high fives.
Just back from her cruise, her adventuresome cruise.
Like we said, we'll get things started here with the bomb pot. Everybody antes up $10. It'll be double board PLO, so these can be very chaotic. Have 2 separate hands on each board. Must play 2 cards from your hand if you're a Hold'em player.
Yeah, Mel gives me the nod that it's going to be a mandatory 10. Agreed by the table to the strudel.
Yeah, so we'll be playing for double the stakes at least tonight. I'm sure we'll see some $20 straddles as well,
Yeah.
especially as
Doubles.
players get deeper.
Some doubles. Pretty PLO hand for Optimize. He's only got a little bit of it, of the board. Looks like Ace Deuce is the good on the bottom for Bertram. And open-ended for Kevin on the low side. And open-ended, well, not open-ended, better for... And there's a jack. Optimize has got a set on top.
I believe that turn card, no, it did not give Kevin the straight yet.
Yeah, he's got the 4-5.
Oh, he does have the 4-5,
yeah,
okay.
He's got all the bottom.
And he is chopping with KC, though. That's one of the dangers of straights and bomb pots. You'll get quartered often, so the goal is to win at least half, and if you're very lucky, all of the pot.
Everybody else gets out of the way.
Huge turn for Optimize with the set of jacks
now.
Yeah,
Kevin doesn't have a redraw here, so he's probably not feeling too good. And, of course, right now he gets beat by 4-7, so he's not going to be too aggressive. He's got 4-7 to block it.
Board pairs on the bottom. That's going to scare the straights. Optimize.
Kevin does have the nuts now with the 6s on the bottom. He's got 6-3.
Does have the full house.
He
so
does.
only
He does
only
know he has
6.
the nuts.
Only pocket aces or ace-6 beats him.
And 6-5 is going to take the top for him as well. Kevin's hand just turned really pretty.
Yeah, Kevin has a scoop here.
He does.
What a way to start a stream.
There's nothing like winning that first bomb pot.
Feel like you're playing with house money the rest of the night. Doesn't get any action on his river bet there, but does profit.
Yeah, makes a little money.
210. So
Yep.
Kevin out the gate in the green, up a couple $100.
All right, time for some real poker.
Time for the real poker. So the $10 is on as promised.
Yep, yes is the straddle. Yeah. Got it 1 seat open tonight so far. Probably fill up pretty quick. Again, as I always say, if you're close by, come on in. First one to get here sits down.
That would probably be you or I if we weren't here in the booth. But
exactly.
I'm sure we'll get another player here as we go along.
Well, you know what I say about a poker night in the booth? I have never gotten stacked in the booth.
Never lost my stack here from the booth.
No.
It's much easier to talk about how other people play.
The biggest winners are always ATMs. That's right. Mel's pointing out the financial facts.
Well, we have a heck of a first hand. So we've got 3 premiums. We've got ace-queen suited, ace-king for optimize, and KC with a very playable ace-10, but he's dominated in this hand.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be one of those. What do you call a king, a queen, or a 10? Or just complete blank board. That's probably the better odds.
We're definitely blocking an ace-high flop here, but that would be a heck of a flop if the case ace happened to come out.
Oh, yeah.
Optimized with a nice lead, about 50% equity going to the flop.
Yep. Junk board. Let's see who had a club redraw. Maybe some backdoor. Looks like only KC.
Only somewhat connected board here. Does have the club draw, as you mentioned, Uncle T.
Yeah.
See if optimized. He's probably not loving that he has to c-bet into 2 players, but he's going to go ahead and continuation here.
Yeah, it's a good play. And being one of the blinds, it's more likely this board is his hand than theirs. Makes it a little hard for them to call.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be a bet and take it. But
Yeah, Barber's a
Barber
blind
looks like he
too,
might
yeah.
have other plans. He lets it go.
Gives it up.
We're left with KC. He's just got 2 overs and a dream at the moment. It looks like Optimize will take down the first hold'em hand.
Well,
here.
it was a nice size bet. It was a very confident $130.
Yeah, nice hand by Optimize there. A lot of folks get a little afraid to c-bet into 2 opponents like that with just ace-king high, but...
Well, you know, Optimize is so smart. He's like, that board is my range, possibly Barber's range.
Yeah.
I mean, equally Barber's range. It's never Kevin's range. So he knows Kevin real well. They play a lot together, plays a lot with Barber, so he probably just thought this is a good time to be a little aggressive.
That's a great point, too, that you make, because I was thinking about it on the way over. A lot of folks, you know, maybe more beginning-type players try to put somebody on a specific hand, but you really should be thinking in terms of ranges, as you just mentioned.
Yep.
Any opponent playing from a blind, you've got to expand their range and take that into consideration.
There's nothing I hate worse than having a good hand like ace-king there, ace-queen. And the board comes out low like that, and I'm up against 2 blinds.
Yep, exactly.
You're just like, oh, well, that's kind of, you're not playing face up, but you're in deep jeopardy.
Pretty exciting hole cards for the first hand. This is a little bit more in the mid-tier. We got ace-9 off versus king-10 off. Under the gun versus the cutoff.
Yep, Chris is in position here.
A little something for everybody.
Yeah.
Goes check, check. Looks like Chris may be trying to disguise the strength of his top pair. Gets KC to bet 50. Let's see if he's going to go ahead and he's just going to flat call, kind of slow playing top pair here.
Very straighty board, and the 10 gets there. So he's got
improves to the straight here.
Kevin's leading out. Not afraid of the straight.
Looks like he's going to represent. He's probably turning his 9 into a bluff here, really trying to represent the straight. But obviously, Chris is going to go ahead and make the call.
Yeah, it's a little bad timing. A little bad timing for Kevin, you know, repping a straight to the man that's, you know, he's, of course, he's losing to Jack 10, but he's, yeah. I think Kevin at that point is thinking, well, wouldn't he bet Jack 10 on that turn?
Yeah.
So probably thought he was good.
Also just a very easy board to represent, you know, a straight with. And if your opponent doesn't have it, you're going to win that 80, 90% of the time.
Yep. All right, we're playing Dak Prescott's hand.
Number 4.
Yeah.
First Cowboys reference. Hopefully Dak can have a much better playoffs this year.
You know what I'm calling for? You know, they'd signed Tony Pollard, so I'm calling for, gosh, his name just went out of my head. Derrick Henry. We got to get him.
I've heard rumors about Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley.
Well, Saquon Barkley signed with
Philadelphia.
Sign.
Oh, okay.
And Barber.
He went to Philly?
He went to Philly. The running back pool got lower today significantly. The Baltimore running back left. Yeah, three of the top 4 running backs got signed.
Our partner in crime here from the booth, Dante, will be excited that I'm sure he already is that Saquon's joining the Eagles.
A lot. Yeah. And the Green Bay signed. Was it Josh Jacobs? They signed somebody.
Didn't hear about that just yet.
Yeah, and released their running back from last year. So a little football mixed in with our poker.
Got an open-ender here for Barber. He's going to keep betting, and that's going to take it. It's a nice semi-bluff there. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in the chat. Feel free to make comments about the hands. Ask Uncle T and I questions.
Yeah,
we're happy to engage.
Give us something to talk about. Ask us something interesting. Last week, it was Lottie and I talking about, shout out to Uncle T from Uncle Daddy.
Uncle Daddy,
nice. That's not what Lottie and I were talking
that
about.
That sounds like an Arkansas thing.
Uncle Daddy, yeah, that sounds a little inbred. It could be East Texas, where I'm from, you know.
No offense to anyone listening from Arkansas.
Yeah. But yeah, Lottie and I, we got to talking last week about we used NASCAR numbers because Lottie was.
Oh yeah, I did. I listened to y'all's
before we
broadcast
before we had a delay. Sorry about that last year. We are all fixed this week. David got us all fixed up. Our executive producer, David. We are good to go.
I would be in deep trouble with a NASCAR number. I think I would be able to name 3.
Like Dale Earnhardt?
Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, and I'm sure there's one that if I saw it I'd recognize, but that's about it.
Jimmy Johnson? Daryl Johnston. That's Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver?
Yes, it's Daryl Johnston also.
Oh, they have the same number?
Yes. Oh, I'm testing.
This is making me. Is it 44?
48.
48. I feel like I'm going to give myself some points for being semi-close.
Yeah. It's like hand grenades, right?
400's big.
On to hand number 6 here.
Mark Martin? No? Number 6?
No, that's. I know the name, but I would not be able to get the number.
Yeah, well, Lottie, he was a deep well of racing knowledge last week. I was impressed.
I was actually somewhat surprised as I listened to y'all last week that Lottie was a NASCAR fan. I would not have guessed that.
He is motorsports. He is across the board.
Oh, okay, all motorsports.
There's not much that he didn't know.
For everybody listening, William Lottie, one of our commentators here. So
the New York Net,
the New York
Long
Net,
Island.
Yep,
There may be some time during the night that I throw out a Lottie when somebody calls.
Yeah, makes the call.
Makes the call. Yeah, love that man.
Shout out to Lottie.
Shout out.
Oh yeah.
Got some speculative holdings here. It's like Queen 9 and a little bit of aggression.
And they were given their proper due, which is $17. Once again, Kristen, one of our dealers. I always brag about the dealers here at TCH Austin, all the TCH and dealers throughout Texas. We got the best in the world. I say that having played a lot of poker in a lot of places.
It's really true that I started playing here a few years back, but there's many dealers that were here when I started.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of consistency, very professional.
A lot of casino experience of different kinds, including our floors, and yeah, just a great group. Not a bad apple in that bunch. I guess that'd be a bad banana in a bunch. Bad apple in a bushel.
Got the ducks for yes. Try to put the extra S's on there.
Yeah. Sound like what was it, Shere Khan? No, that's the tiger. Jungle Book reference. Come on.
Oh, okay. I did.
It was the snake.
Wasn't a Jungle Book guy.
Really?
No.
Oh, man.
Let's see. No deuce.
We had a queen in this hand.
9-10 jack
No, we did
board,
not. Just,
so
yeah,
middle
optimize.
pair for Optimize is going to be the best hand by a considerable margin. Very connected wet board here, so
Yeah,
he
very.
does make the call with actually bottom pair. I think I may have said middle pair, and now
And he
10
said-
pairs.
But the diamonds are there. Oh, take it back. Diamonds and hearts.
Let's see if Yes tries to keep telling the story here.
Check. Boy, that's a bit of a showstopper. A heart and the completion of a four-liner.
Yeah, Optimize might just take a stab here with the best hand. Maybe. No, he's going to check. Either's fine. Yes knows he can't win unless he bets.
Yeah, he's thinking about, am I getting trapped here? Or
Unless somehow he was against an ace-high type hand with no pair. But
yeah.
he's
gonna
going to take a stab.
And he may. This will probably get through.
And he overbets. Yeah,
Yeah.
225. That's going to get it done.
bet.
There's-
Great bet. Yes to the bet.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Nice play there. Power of position.
Yep.
You get to act last.
Honestly, that's one of those where Optimize is like thinking to himself, if I act here and I'm, early aggression would have worked there. He doesn't know that, but
Yeah.
that's nice play. We're already on our 8th hand. We're flying through them. So, folks, if you don't know our format, if you haven't listened to us before, I see we got a good group tonight. We'll go for 4 hours tonight. We started at 6:03, so we'll be broadcasting all the way till broadcasting. I sound like I'm on freaking radio. We're going to be streaming until 10:03. We play 4 hours. The game often goes on past that, but we're happy to be with you on a Monday.
Beautiful Monday here in Austin.
Oh, boy. Was it ever. I worked outside a lot today.
It was a beautiful day. Went to the lake with my dog.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Threw the ball in the water a little bit?
Yep, exactly. Wore out my Labrador Retriever, and now, as the sun goes down, great time to watch some poker.
Yep.
And probably play afterwards.
Yep, I did a little beforehand. I always feel like I'm stretching out for the live stream if I play a little poker, get my poker brain
Get the
going.
poker brain limbered
Yeah,
up.
Yeah. So I don't pull a muscle.
So we've got an open-ender here for KC with his King-5 that actually now makes a pair on the turn. And that also gives Kevin a backdoor flush draw. His Queen-9 of diamonds.
Kevin C goes at it kind of heavy. Let's see if probably he's going to get a call from KY.
Yeah, it's really early, but KC is shown he's not afraid to put a little money into the pot.
Yeah, just a float by Kevin. See if he can get there. Queen would do it. 9 would do it. Diamond would do it.
Lots of outs. 15 outs for Kevin. None of them are the ace of spades.
That may slow Kevin down a little bit. KC, excuse me. Mr. Creekmore and I are old friends, so I have a hard time calling him KC. I feel like the Sunshine Band should come out any moment.
Yeah, I think we may see. It looks like it was a check. I think our graphics may be lagging a hair here. Yeah, so check, bet, fold. So Kevin's going to win with the worst of it, but he's representing that ace.
Yeah.
KC has every reason to believe that's in his range.
Yep.
And once again, that's 2 times in a row we've seen the power of playing in position won the pot with the worst of it.
And that's something Kevin's exceptional at. He's always very aware of his position. He's got ranges in his mind, what his ranges appear to be. So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. He's the master at that. Kevin, if you're listening, I did not call you a master. He's not a master of the universe, but he is pretty damn good.
He's Kevin, very good poker player. We've got several very strong players at this table that, of course, you and I have quite a bit of hours on the table with as well.
Yeah, with just about all the group. We just had somebody sit down in seat, is that 7?
Looks like seat 7 is going to be just James, hopping in a little late here. Regular on the stream, so be excited.
Not to be confused with Naked James. If you know him, if you're an Austin poker player, you know Naked.
Looks like KC's going to bump it up with his pair of 5s, and Kevin with the first big premium pair we've seen. He's got the jiggities.
Are you still doing
Shout out to Brado and
KC's got one of my favorite low pair. I have hit more sets with those fives. It's so funny the way that you'll have an outlier like that.
that just
And
seems
it goes
to keep
for
hitting.
a while. You surf that wave, and you're like, it's not.
So I have a very recent, very profitable version of that, and for me, it's been 8s.
Really?
Been flopping sets of 8s, and
Interesting.
in fact, last night
I can't believe I made it.
flopped an a set of 8s on an ace-high board. Beautiful. Person had ace king, got all their money.
Nice.
I mean, now you can pull
To the flop, no set this time for KC.
Yeah, but not a very scary board for either hand. Matter of fact, we're probably going to get a bet by Kevin here, as he was the pre-flop aggressor, and probably a call.
Yeah, KC has every reason to come along here. His 5s are still good.
Not any
pretty
back
often.
doors for Kevin. That's going to, of course, kill the back doors.
10 on the turn. Kevin still probably feels great about his hand. No overcards to his pair.
See what size his bet is here. What do you figure, about 180?
Pretty good pot building here.
225, yeah.
Got over 650 in the pot.
250. And that,
Yeah,
that's
I think you have to probably come along on the flop there with the 5s, and see what your opponent does. But after that next big bet, I certainly would be laying the 5s down there as KC did.
So I think I really kind of screwed myself.
Evan S. asked in the chat, can anybody get on this stream by signing up on Poker Atlas? It does show up on Atlas, but the way to sign up for the stream is to go to texascardhouse.com. There's a link that you could find near the top where you can sign up to be on the stream, and then someone will reach out to you about getting you scheduled. That's the best way to do it for a future stream.
Yeah, I do sign up for these on the Atlas. Now, it'll ask you to check in, and it's a little goofy, but yeah, I do. I'd recommend for the 2-5 game or the 1-3 on Thursday that you do this at least 3 or 4 days in advance.
Yeah.
You want to be in the top 9, ideally, in case more than that show up. But if you are here and you're like number 12 on the sign-up list, and there are only 8 players, you will get a seat. It's whoever's here at 5:45 or 5, even earlier.
Yeah.
Whoever's here first gets the seat. So now a lot of people do call in, but yeah, absolutely go to the website. You can do it through Atlas. It's probably a little. You can even call in.
Yeah,
get on
I
the
think
list.
calling in is good too, because sometimes Atlas will start the timer and you get kicked out of your spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably calling is also a very good option.
Well, I for the 1-3 game on Thursday, I have standing sign up, where I just basically I'll call or tell our wonderful hosts and hostesses out front to put me on the list as soon as it pops
I'm gonna
up.
have to do something to get your level of privileges, Uncle T.
You know, there is certain bribes that you can make in certain areas. I'm not saying I did that, but there are certain. Yeah.
Money
good
talks.
Yes, money talks. Flattery is very useful. Sometimes a straight bribe. Yeah, that's one or the other.
He's trying to, slim and trim. Rob, come on. Come on. Slim and trim, baby.
Okay, our producer is saying that niceness works, but I have not found that to be true. With you it works? No, I'm going to have to be nicer to you. That explains a lot of my failures with you as my dealer in the past.
Yeah, both.
Kevin is going to raise and take it with ace jack. That's so quickly moving on from hand 11 there. Very early, but early leaders are Kevin and Optimize up 230 and 524 respectively.
I think it's harder to game. Whoever gets closest.
Both started with 2K stacks.
Both are very uncomfortable.
I believe Barber and Bertram and Just James, the only ones that didn't start with 2K.
Not eating is painful. It's psychologically.
Hello once again to everybody in the chat. We see Rena and
Like, if you're
Crazy
skinny,
Rena in
Frenchman
the house.
205.
Like,
5 raise, 110.
As Crazy Frenchman said, please hit the thumbs up button. We would appreciate it.
Yeah, we would. And once again, if you have any questions, if you want to bring up a topic of conversation, if you want to get into poker theory,
Glad to do that.
yeah, it's nothing we like better than talking about. I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about our least favorite thing that we like to hear at the table. Oh, yeah. Then there's a hand going on, too, which is kind of
Got a huge flop here for Optimize. We got Trip Kings versus an Ace Queen. May not get a lot of value, but he's going to slow play it. Probably suspecting that he has too big of a piece of the board to really get any value.
Yep.
And KC's going to fire as Optimize would have hoped.
That's what
See
you
if
hope
he-
for.
busy or something.
He's going to choose to flat or go ahead and raise now or wait till the river. I like the flat call.
I do, too.
Grabs calling chips.
He's not afraid of much.
Dude, it is. It makes you want to eat way more throughout the day.
See if the heart comes, maybe slows it down a little bit. But it doesn't.
5 of clubs on the river changes nothing. Very unlikely straight. Could be there.
So a
but
value bet here without looking too strong, or a bluff looker?
yeah, on this board, actually,
I
KC
think breakfast it really
could be tempted
Yeah.
to call with ace high, but
like about how you're
obviously in this case he's crushed
Yeah.
by Optimizing. 400 bucks is going to take it down.
Yeah, Optimize is going for the more bluffy look, which I like, actually. I don't think a down bet or even a reasonable size bet is going to give Kevin much pause. He folds pretty quick. But a $400 bet, that looks pretty bluffy.
It looks bluffy, and he's probably trying to get a crying call from a hand like maybe tens or jacks.
Yeah, like water heavy food.
Kind of as played, I could see how Optimize might put him on a hand like that.
A lot of people don't know this. You actually burn more calories. When you
Another
eat, like,
good pot for
breakfast, like,
Optimize,
in the
though. I
morning,
believe
like,
he is our
10% more
chip
caffeine
and profit leader.
from eating.
First view of VPIPs, a little early
Yeah, like,
to
if you eat, like, 600
derive a
calories,
whole
you don't
lot
really
from
need
that.
5
How
for breakfast.
often players are voluntarily putting money into the pot, but right now KC the most active, along with Optimize, and
Yep, and that won't last. I mean, Kevin's is not a hyper-aggressive
I do
player,
think it depends on what you
KC.
eat, but, you know.
And really none of these are. I'd say probably James can be, and Chris can be the more aggressive players. But this is a group. There's not a person at the table that hasn't played with this group numbers of times. So everybody's got a book on each other.
yeah, no real maniacs, but
No.
you certainly, at some point tonight, there's several players here that are capable of well-timed aggression
Yep.
with an air ball. So
On
I
pot
assume
number
we'll
2.
see that at some point. All hearts on the first board. Deuce 6-5.
6 check, 7 check, 9 check,
Queen 8-3 on the bottom board.
2 check, 3 check.
For those listening, top and bottom is defined as furthest and closest to the dealer. So top is away from the dealer.
My least favorite thing when people get those switched and they say, "Oh, I've got the top board," and they mean the bottom, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, yes.
Looks like Ace 9 is good on the top. I left too quickly. I couldn't see
Had
who
a
had
set
that.
of fives
Yeah, Barber. Set of 5s and Ace 9 of hearts is
for Bertram.
Barber's going to lead out here with the nuts on top.
6 weeks down 22 pounds.
Yeah, great spot here for Barber.
Queen Jack, it looks like we just got some draws. No real big spades at all. 5-4. No, not even 5-4.
Set of kings, KC turns.
Wow.
It's gonna get hard
So
when you hit, like 200.
the set of fives is
All
now
the action on the top board.
toast.
Right now, it looks like Jack 10 is good on the top, but I doubt Yes knows that.
It's okay though, because usually when I hit like 200 is when I start having more energy to do like longer like cardio sessions,
Quads. Wow.
more workout.
And he's blocking the Broadway.
Quads for KC. Finally has a hand go his way.
Barber is good on the bottom. There's no way he could know that with Ace 8.
Looks like Or does KC have a scoop? The kings are good.
Yeah, no, the kings are not good
It's
on the
got
bottom because we got
100%.
ace-8, which is 2 pair.
Okay, maybe the graphics is we're just showing 100% equity for KC.
On
I
both?
had Taco
Yeah,
Bell
he's
as my
got
first
Kings?
after the water
King
fence.
Jack? No. Don't really know why that came out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we've got an error in the graphic here.
Well, we're not showing. We usually, for those of you that are looking at this, we usually are showing 2 different percentages. Right now, we're just showing one, which indicates to me the bottom board is not being factored.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Yeah, so they do chop.
bit.
And yeah, good call.
Yeah, they did. Oh, wow. The Hearts Barber is like, but,
Eights on the bottom, 5 kings,
ace-8. He's like, oh. There's no better feeling in the world than when you just get crushed on the board you were counting on and you got a little bit of insurance.
That is a
on
great
that.
feeling to get
Yeah.
that rebate. It's also, he's thinking, wow, I flopped the nut flush and I get runner quads.
And of course, Bertram is sitting there with a smaller boat or a small boat. Yeah, he's really hating it. He's the one that did not get a piece of the
And
pie.
Bertram may be need to be in add-on territory here. It looks like he's down to about 150.
Thank you, Kevin. C9 is adding 600.
Yeah. No, like.
Then I probably run into a straight flush.
And on to the next Hold'em hand again.
It was definitely a mistake eating strawberries though, because my stomach hurts so bad. I guess like complex carbs are tough to digest.
Yes.
Looks like Optimize is going to open the Ducks. Second appearance for the Deuces.
What are the quads tonight?
Did not
Are they
see
jacks?
yet.
We'll have to find that out. We do have a promotion going on where quads, 4 in your hand on the bomb. It is jacks. Oh, 4 in your hand. It's $200 progressive. I think we're up to like 1,800, 800. And or if you have 2 in your hand on a non-bomb pot on a Hold'em hand, and you get 2 on the board. We had I think a $3,400 payout
Yeah, it was
recently.
over 3,000.
Yeah,
Somebody
very-
won. I think it was quad aces.
Yeah, it was
what
quad aces.
ultimately won. So, and here is a set for Optimize.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
list.
but we have set over set.
over
KC
set. Oh
has
my
flopped a
gosh.
set as well with the 7s.
Oh,
This is the nightmare scenario for Optimize because
yep. Had one of these yesterday. Aces versus kings. We both flopped a set.
and KC's going to go ahead and raise. We do have a spade draw. He probably wants to prevent any equity from any spade or flush draws. Of course, that's not what Optimize has. And unfortunately for Optimize, he's sitting here thinking, how can I get as much money in the pot now? But he has 9% equity.
Yeah.
This is just the nightmare scenario.
And unless he gets a spade on the turn, that equity is going to go down to nil.
If there is a poker player in the world good enough to fold a set because they believe their opponent has a bigger set, then I haven't met that person yet.
Yep. And Kevin could make up for his early shortfalls. He's down a little bit on
I also like on a really
first
bad
few hands, and
I think he just jammed. He jams and gets snapped
Kevin's like, yeah, that is
by
really,
KC.
really
Brutal
unfortunate.
spot.
So runner spades or a 2, and
Yeah, Optimize drawing
no
very
help.
thin here. He has
wow,
brutal
somebody
spot.
at the table said it. Set over set. Yep.
4,100 going to KC.
Wow. Merry Christmas.
Well, he was having second best quite a bit early on in
Yeah,
some
he
small
was.
and medium pots. And
Yeah.
nothing can wash away a slightly down session faster than set over set.
Yeah, and like I said yesterday, we had a hand. I told a partner here this story earlier, but we both flopped a set with a third person in the hand that flopped 2 diamonds, all in, 3-way all in. Jack 10 of diamonds hits on the turn, and then I got the quad ace on the
didn't
on
put
the
it
river.
on the set.
That was a nice
Beautiful
feeling.
case ace.
Case ace.
Yeah, I thought he had some combo.
Like you pointed out, we had outs. I had outs. The Kings were crushed, but yeah, that was a gut punch followed by some nice therapeutic.
Nothing like the old suck resuck.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The player that had the diamonds on the turn, he looked like somebody had.
Probably took
him
the wind
over.
out of his sails.
Yeah,
I
he
can
just
only
sat out of the
imagine.
table, got stacked.
Well,
Shout out to Victor. Victor, you're on the Christmas card list for giving me that case ace. Again, I'm one of our dealers. I almost kissed him.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Should have
wow,
kissed
and might as well call out KC tips Kristen $15. Don't often call out tips on the stream, but nice.
We should.
Nice,
We should.
very generous from KC there after winning a monster.
You said 15?
$15. Yeah, sure. Kristen appreciates it.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I just love our dealers. Can you all hear me? I just went quiet in my own head. I thought I was having a neurological event. They work twice as hard for twice as long. For 2 hours straight, they got somebody talking in their ear. It's a lot of work.
It really is.
It's
Ton of
mentally
focus.
taxing. I could never be a dealer. I know that.
Yeah, I've often thought about that I would be an awful dealer.
Yeah, I did it for about 20 minutes at the employee day here at the Texas Card House Austin, and it was a you-know-what show. It was fun. Yes, I had 2 shuffling machines, one on each side of me, and thank goodness, or we would have gotten about 4 hands an hour.
I would like to try it just to see if I'm as bad as I think, or maybe possibly worse.
I found out I'm so much worse than I thought. That my ego is, as my dad used to tell me, your ego is writing checks that your butt can't cover.
So I think we have a correction in the chat. Matthew Myers says he was the one that hit quad 3s for that enormous promo. So
yes, it was quad 3s on the most recent one.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
congrats to Matthew
That
in the
was
chat. Thanks for hopping on.
Matt, I'm going to call the IRS as soon as we get off the stream. You didn't give me a dime of that. That's what I'm heard about.
Quick updates for stack size. It looks like Optimize rebought for 2K, and I believe Bertram had added on. I believe I saw $750, so he's back in the game. Got the 6s for Barber here.
Yeah. That was your hand or 7? 8s.
Eights, yeah. And Kevin now again with a
overpair
solid
to a pair.
Yeah, overpair versus a pair.
Looks like he's going to get everybody else out. Ace-7 is considering, but he's going to fold that.
And Barber just limped, which,
he's going to set mine,
Yeah, it's just sometimes, with those lower pairs, you can
pretty sure he's
limp
behind.
and then just plan to call whoever raises for a little bit less
Boink.
money. And there
In
he
the
hits it.
window.
It's set night at TCH
How much
Austin.
is that doggy in the window?
The queen is probably going to slow things down and probably prevent Kevin from
Yeah, he's going to put out a little bit of a feeler
losing
bet
his
here,
whole stack
see
here.
where he stands.
Barber's just going to flat.
Just has to fade the queen in Kevin's mind. Now he's got the diamonds to think about as well as the hearts.
Yeah, potential straight draws there with some of the holdings that
Unfortunately
Kevin might have.
for Kevin, the range of hands for Barber here is so huge.
Kevin going to come
Yeah,
along
he's going
here.
to come along. That right size bet, great betting size. Nothing scary. Diamonds might slow
come
Barber
in.
down a
Yeah,
little
it might
bit.
slow things
but
down a bit.
again, they're backdoor. He's less likely to put Kevin on diamonds and hearts.
Ooh, Barber does not go for value on the river.
And he gets
Yeah, and Kevin has showdown value with his 10, so he's just going to check back.
Yeah. I think Kevin probably would have called a $100 bet there, maybe 125.
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
so
about
too.
max,
Yeah, make a bet sizing that's giving him, 4 or 5 to 1 and get a little bit more money in the middle.
That's the other
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't want me dealing it to you, Matt. Trust me.
He's getting more than juice by.
But one thing I'm going to say now, I'm going to brag about our players here at TCH. We've had a number of big quad payouts, and I am always gratified to see at least 10% or so, somewhere in that reasonable, really nice range, sometimes more, going back to the dealer that dealt it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a tendency as players to get mad at dealers when they, like, I'm sure that guy that got the quad, that I got the quad ace on was not happy with our dealer. So if you're gonna be a little rough on the dealers, not, you know, too negative, but you're thinking that way, go the other direction too. When they give you that beauty, kick a little their way.
Poker's about having a balanced range. To
It
have
is.
a balanced tipping range.
Yes,
You-
yes, and we don't see that a lot. I mean, we kind of see somebody gave a $25 chip on a fair size pot yesterday, and I felt a lot better about that person than I did 2 minutes before that. I like to see that.
Got top pair for Kevin and Optimize here. Obviously, the king queen dominating with the queen kicker for Kevin Y. Optimize does have some straight draw pot. Well, actually, both players could make some backdoor straights.
Oh, that's a bit of an action card.
And that is a bad turn for Kevin.
Yep.
2 pair now for Optimize. Probably did not suspect he was as far behind as he was. Actually goes check, check. And the 10 of
Mommy, I was
diamonds
just about to say, what would the 10 do to the conversation?
has now
my
given
gosh.
Kevin the best hand. What a roller coaster.
Wow. That is going to be, I mean, that's just a cooler. You're thinking
Yeah,
about 2 pair here. Now, he could put him on ace queen. He could put him on a diamond draw, kind of. But, yeah, this is going to be hard for Optimize to envision how this card hurt him.
Yeah, I think Optimize, he can go the check call route, or he can go for like a thin value bet and then fold when
Really
he gets
relatively
raised.
small pot here, so how much does he call back? Kevin's
And
probably going to make a $75 bet here for value, but maybe go a little bluffy again.
I bet he goes 125.
All right.
But we're just, it's hard to get in the mind of
Well,
Kevin.
you're always greedier than I am, so. Let's see if Kevin's greedier.
Oh, you know him better than I do, Uncle T. Goes for 80.
There is nothing scarier in the world than having Kevin Y value betting you.
Yeah, I think Optimize, this is, he's just going to
call
shrug
it.
and call, literally shrugged and call.
Yeah.
That's just one of those spots.
It is.
I was in one of those spots yesterday, actually. I had the King of Hearts.
My wife joined like
The river hits, flush gets there, somebody bets into me. I felt like they had the ace of hearts, but they gave me such good odds. I just shrugged and
she was like,
Yeah.
"Where are the stakes?"
paid them their
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah, she was like, "What are you looking for?" She was like 5'10", and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, like, we were like 10 cents, 20 cents."
All right.
25 cents.
Hand number 18. Rolling through them pretty fast. We've been 45 minutes into our stream.
It's funny, like
We usually
it's funny
average
because,
about
like,
20
they
to
didn't know that she
22
was
hands
asking
per
for
hour.
money.
It's a
And,
little
like,
bit
I felt
slower.
like because she was a woman, they were like,
You know, our producer
"No,
has
we'll
got to
try
do
get
some
something going for you,
work
though, you
and
know?"
talking, and generally this table is a little more thoughtful. You don't see speedy action.
Like, if it was just,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
a
not
guy,
blaming
I
you,
feel
Mel.
like
I
it's
just know you
supposed to
got
be,
lots to
like,
do.
like,
She gave me the eyeball.
rocks, you know? Like,
Unless you like
get out of here.
look like a whale on your face.
Looks like Bertram's got the ace jack, and Barbara's got a premium with, as Kevin always
Yeah, it was
tells
funny.
me, the Asian aces.
Find something for me on Logan Maynard, you know?
Back to global.
Chris is going to come along with the 9-8 offsuit. Let's see what we got here.
At least she's trying.
That is fairly
I
action-free.
appreciate it, I appreciate she was looking.
Nobody really hits on this board.
It's like
See if the
close
ace
by. I
jack
didn't
is
get
the
exact
more
details,
aggressive
but
one.
Yeah, it was like 10 cents, 25
And you got
cents.
2
and they do,
calls
like,
for
$20
25?
tournaments, you know, like winner take all.
Or just one call. Having a hard time because I'm looking at the overview. Yeah, Barbara's the only one that stays in the hand with the 2 hearts. Doesn't get there. No action change there, although we got a wheel draw for Bertram if he hits the 3.
I can grind out a nice like $4 hourly maybe.
That'll be like $5 an hour.
So we got the heart draw versus the wheel draw. Yeah. Barber's going to make a call here for 150.
I would bet
Makes
a lot of money that
sense.
I mean,
He could be up against ace queen or king queen, but and the wheel gets there. But unfortunately, Barber misses, so he's not. Bertram's not going to get a call.
Dan Coleman or something, like some old school high stakes pro.
Unless
Barber
Barber
might
decides,
bluff at it,
you
though.
might bluff at it. Maybe you could rep an ace. And
He's
he's
gonna go
going
for
to. Let's see what this bet sizing is. And of course, he's going to get snapped. Bertram's like, okay, if you got 6, 7, good for you. Actually, taking a little time. Like I said, this is a lot more thoughtful group than your usual 1-2. Yep, he makes the call. Unfortunately, he kind of walked into it. He's hoping he had something like queen jack, queen king, queen 10.
Yeah, nice one for Bertram. Gets him up over 1K.
Yeah. It was, the line was a little bit confusing for Barber because there was nice, consistent aggressiveness by Bertram that looked like a queen. So
That's what I was thinking. Exactly.
you're thinking about that. Okay, I know we've talked about this. It's very common for this level player to be thinking about what I'm going to rep if a certain card hits.
Yeah.
That I can rep against what I put the other hand on. Okay, what can I bluff at this person? Then it becomes less about what your actual cards are.
Yeah, I remembered. I remember that I felt like I turned a corner when I would start rooting for a flush that I didn't have because I knew I was going to bluff and they weren't going to be able to call.
Yeah, there are a lot of times. You're right. It was a corner turn for me in my Hold'em era because I predate Hold'em. I hate to say, not really, but its popularity. I started playing 2 hands in my head. The hand I'm repping, or I could be representing, and the hand I've got. And a lot of times, the equity swung towards the hand I was repping.
Got an ace-king suited here for Optimize on the button, so
Yeah, Chris got one of my favorite hands.
may not get as much respect with the button raise. But this is his second ace-king. He had that huge
gives
cooler
it
with
up.
set over set, so hopefully, for Optimize's sake, he can get paid off here. Nice suited connector for just James.
Little
Really
bit of
not
a
that
giant
far
slayer.
behind.
Yeah.
And
he
that's
does hit.
James's flop.
Yeah.
All spades, though, the monotone board.
Yeah, that's gonna
I don't believe
put a
any
cap on the
nobody with a
action a little
spade.
bit.
Yeah, we got diamonds and
no
clubs.
spades. Yeah.
Just James with middle pair checks over to Optimize.
Again, Optimize like he did in the previous hand is gonna be a little bit aggressive. This is another thing about these player levels. They are not as intimidated by the flop monotone board.
Yeah, and really this is a tough spot for James. He doesn't have a spade to redraw. Yeah, you just got to let middle pair and basically no kicker go there.
Yeah, I
nice
agree.
play by Optimize.
He doesn't even want to call a single high spade.
Yeah.
Again, these players and the better players that we play with, they're thinking about what the next bet or two is at that point. What am I going to have to call the next if it's just a brick, or what am I going to have to call if that another spade comes?
Exactly. Yeah, I see that a lot at the more beginner type levels. People they make the call on the turn with no plan of what they may face on the river.
Yeah.
And if you're not thinking about what the river bet might be when you on the turn, then you're
you're
a street
painted
short.
into a quarter. You're painting yourself into a unnecessary corner. And long-term wise, that's a question about, again, of how many times am I ahead, how many times am I behind, and then what are my odds going to be, what are my percentages going to be in the next reveal card. So
Optimize with ace-king back-to-back. This is of the unsuited variety, but
that's
still
the third
very
time he's
strong.
had it already.
Suited ace for yes.
And generally in position he's had it.
And he's going to make the call. Just flats the 3-bet from yes. This is going to under-rep his hand maybe slightly. Wheel draw here, but top pair for Optimize.
We'll see how strongly the yes feels about his gutter. One-leggeter.
Yeah, when you play ace-deuce suited, this you got to consider this hitting the flop.
Yeah, you
to
do.
some extent.
Yeah.
So
You know your equity to a better ace is increased. Now you're thinking about the ace king.
this is a really, really dry board. The king high flop with just the 3-4, no flush draws. And yep, Optimize does exactly what I would expect and what I would have done as well. Just flats.
And once again, Optimize is thinking about it. I'm playing a blind. What is his range here?
It's going to also in position, so yes, it's going to have to act first again. He is going to keep repping a monster here. Goes full pot, nearly.
Yep.
400 into 465. We got almost 1K in the middle now.
I think this is going to get a call. The good thing about Optimize is he's got the table in his head well enough to have him on a range of hands in that position. I mean, it could have been threes, could have been fours, but it's highly unlikely.
If Optimize puts yes on a bluff here, he might just flat, but I could see him just going ahead and stuffing it, and he does.
And he does.
Yeah.
Boy, nice call, Kyle. No, he just called.
Oh, he did just flat. Okay,
I
I
thought
think
the
both
action
are fine.
looked like it.
That's a terrible card on the river, really.
Yeah, it is. It's going to kill the action here. I don't see yes firing a third bullet. If he does, he's jamming.
He's got a jam. He's got an SPR under 1.
Yeah.
Stack to pot ratio.
Nice.
1.2K into
Nice.
to 1465. And
He
he
does
stuffs it. He
jam.
goes for all of it.
Oh, wow.
This is a
Move of the
gross
night
spot
so
for
far.
Optimize.
Wow. Move of the
Optimize is
night.
a smart player, though. He may find the call here, but he's losing to a lot of two-pair holdings that
Even
yes,
ace queen,
would have.
Yeah.
Obviously, the straights, queen 9.
This line, okay, so you've seen the line, the aggression post flop. What are you thinking about at this point?
I'm most worried about sets and two-pair
Yeah.
based on the line.
Yeah, king 10. They can't put him on king 3, king 4.
The hitting,
Threes, fours.
everything else would be a gutter, so
Yeah.
I'd be less worried about the
Yeah.
straight and more worried about does he have king 10, king jack.
I would
pocket
even be thinking at this
threes or
point, are
fours.
we about to chop this hand?
And also, we know Optimize is stuck. He had the huge cooler with set over set, so this is a really gross spot. I mean,
The great thing about Optimize, he's got a short memory.
yeah, he
He's,
definitely is.
professional enough to say, okay, that was then, this is now.
He plays at this level and higher enough to. He's not afraid of the money if he thinks it's the right move.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a.
He's going to take his time. He's going to talk himself through it.
12%
I'm feeling fold vibes from him.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about king jack right now, or even set of tens.
There's just so many combos that he loses to here.
Yeah, they're going to smash.
Yeah. Again, folks, it's not thinking about how many hands you lose. It's how many times am I ahead. What do I lose to? That's a decent thought. But
Yeah, he's only. I mean, as played, he kind of only beats bluffs and king queen. He does. He makes a
nice-
call. Wow.
Nice call.
Great call by Optimize. What a tough spot. I mean,
Yeah, very tough
really
spot.
both players.
And credit to Yes. He
Yes,
played that
credit
very
to
well
Yes.
because he held the aggression throughout.
Yeah.
As soon as that flop, he's like, he bet his.
He told a very convincing story.
I was convinced, and I'm looking at the hand.
Yeah, we could see the cards and we were convinced.
Yeah. I
Great
was thinking to
call by
myself, how many
Optimize.
times do I call here? And the answer was about 0.2% of the time.
Yeah,
But
I'll
that's why
admit,
Optimize is Optimize, and I'm me.
much less than 50% of the time in my calling there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think does have some bluffs there, but what a tough call. And Optimize probably
Credit.
just about
He
unstuck
leveled
himself
or
in one
not
hand.
leveled, but just got level on the night. Yeah. Wow. Call of the night on hand number 20.
What a hand.
It's going to take something to beat that one.
Small line, big line.
Wow.
So tell us, what the heck is going on in Dallas?
What's going on in Dallas? Well, actually, we'll start with Houston because I clicked
right.
that button first.
Okay. Well, I'm from
We'll
Dallas.
switch
Fort
over.
Worth.
Yeah, Actually, a little bit hard to see the icons. But so Houston, we have a $1 million in guarantees going on coming up in April, the 10th through the 22nd. 16 different events. Go to tch.com to check out the full schedule. Love to see you at the Houston location. And we also have a tournament series ongoing in Dallas, as Uncle T mentioned. So we'll share some of that info here in a minute. And actually, I will be playing at the Las Colinas location tomorrow.
Wow. I
yeah.
love that house.
I'll be going
Love
up to
that
Dallas
house.
to get my passport updated, and I'm going to play some cards.
Are they finally kicking you out?
I got kicked off the island of USA. No, gonna actually take a poker trip to Cambodia.
Cambodia?
Yes.
You're going to Phnom Penh?
I'm sorry?
Phnom Penh?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Phnom Penh, and haven't lined up on its specific dates just yet, but just getting
Wow.
everything in order so
Is
that
this
I
a
can
group,
do that.
or are you just going solo? or-
Either solo or with one other person that is still making the final call.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's.
If you get a chance to get on, I think the Mekong goes through that part. The river is beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've done a lot of research. I'll admit, not the most sophisticated
The
way.
longest
YouTube videos.
undammed river in the world.
Really?
Yeah, it was, and as far as I know, the Mekong is still undammed.
Huh. Interesting.
They don't have a water shortage in that part of the world, so they don't really need to.
Oh, that makes
power,
sense.
They
Yeah,
could.
they have
and
no
they,
reason.
You know, it's just it's supposed to be gorgeous. I had a friend that went on his honeymoon down the Mekong, so I saw a lot of gorgeous pictures.
Yeah, hoping to get out
There are a couple
there.
of premiums for Kevin and Chris. I love to watch these two battle.
Yeah, it is fun. Both great players and both turn top pair.
Yeah,
Kevin again with the
he's
the
been
best hand.
shaved a little bit ahead every
Yeah,
time.
he's just like slightly ahead of his opponents in seemingly every hand so far. And Chris has no reason to not believe that he turned the best hand, or did not turn the best hand, I should say.
Yeah, he's gonna look him up for 125. Let's see how much value Kevin goes for. If this is not an action killer card like a club, which it's not, so
5 of spades is basically a brick here, so trying to see into the future. Kevin's going to bet about 400, and I think Chris is going to have to call, unfortunately for Chris.
yeah. So what are you guessing the bet is? I'm gonna guess like a double the last bet. I'm gonna go for like
I
250.
think 400.
Oh, really? You're gonna go on the high end?
I feel like he typically goes higher than what I expect.
Well, he's got 300 in front of him so far. Yeah, looks like 300 and change, 360.
Yeah, around 360, 370 maybe.
Yeah,
370.
Right between us.
Yeah, quick call. I mean,
Oh.
nothing else Chris can do
And the
there.
funny thing is, Chris was ready to fold it as soon as he made the call.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
wife's
you
on
kinda
TikTok.
just have to
Max
pay that
value.
off.
Max value for
She's
Kevin once
conspiracies
again.
all the time. Like she says she's not into conspiracies.
Probably does the same thing with ace 10, ace 9 and below. He probably can consider getting away there, but
The
with
way
Kevin,
it rolled out, I think there
Yeah.
was a part of Chris that thought he might have just had king.
I swear, like I'm not into him. I just like to listen to him.
Illuminati. It just says recent searches.
Yeah.
All right.
so the aforementioned Dallas.
The aforementioned Dallas. Aforementioned?
Aforementioned? I believe that's correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Aforementioned?
Aforementioned.
I'm from East Texas.
We have an ongoing series upcoming series starting on the 20th.
You've heard of the big one?
Even bigger one.
This is even bigger.
$250K.
$250,000. Number of flights, as you can see here. Culminating with Sunday, March 24th.
Love the 30-minute levels, 300
Followed by the final
buy-in.
table on Monday, which will be live streamed. Our friend Aaron will be doing that broadcast, I'm sure. If you listen to the Dallas stream very often, big fan of Aaron.
Great player
Great player.
and physicist.
Yeah. Is that right?
Aaron is a physicist. I believe he actually
Get
has
the
his
frick out of
PhD in physics.
Get the frick out of here.
Yeah, so it
I
makes.
did not know
when
that.
you
How
see
have
how
I-
he analyzes poker, those dots aren't too hard to connect.
No, it's not.
once
No.
once I learned that.
No,
yeah.
I knew he was a poker nerd. I did not know he was a
Yeah.
full-fledged nerd. All right,
is
so Chris has
full-fledged.
he's got the 4.
A
Yes
4,
has
no
got a
friend.
4 as well. No friends. There's the 4-5, which I believe Yes had.
No
Sorry,
5
we're
for
catching.
yes.
No 5.
See,
Chris has
do we
got
have
got the
clubs?
higher redraw.
Barber's got second nut clubs
7-8. Oh, okay, yeah, the club. Second net clubs is probably pretty
on
confident
the
about
top
that.
board here.
And Chris has got that ace, so it's not in play. Of course, Barber doesn't know that.
Yes makes the call drawing dead, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Looks like our graphics not showing both equities again, but it
Yeah.
appears that the trip 4s for Yes. Oh, so he's not drawing dead. Yes does have the 4. It's still good on the bottom.
Yeah, we got 2 4s out there. Unfortunately, the 4-10 connects. The lower kicker connects. So 4-10 is going to take it. Chris had the
Oh, yeah,
higher
he did have the
kickers.
ace to go with his
Yeah.
4. So, yeah, so Yes and Barber will be chopping, assuming nobody folds.
Yeah, we reserve the right to
Track every time.
Barber goes ahead and bets second nut flush.
I've heard like that's how Timu's profitable.
That can be a little dicey.
Like they like sell it. A
Yeah,
lot.
jacks beat you, 10s beat you, 5s beat you. It's this is low boat really. 4-5 is the
Chinese
lowest boat,
Amazon,
but
but which, yeah, it's like
he does look him up.
Oh, that Timu?
yeah.
Chris is thinking, is there any way that my
It's
naked
like dirt cheap.
4 with an ace kicker
Chinese
is good
goods
here?
delivering, like, 2 to
Yeah,
3.
it's kind of a gross spot. He also loses to a flush,
Yeah.
so I think he gets
Yeah,
away
that's
here.
right. The diamonds came in. Yeah.
In fact, Yes has the diamonds, although he doesn't need them.
And this is a good enough size bet.
Yeah, good,
It's
good,
like,
good
you know,
fold
they
there
show
by
you
Chris.
Very good fold,
size something,
Chris.
and you get like the mini microversion, you know.
I say this all the time. Hope is a bad plan. Can't hold 'em.
yeah,
Hope
yeah,
is no plan in a bomb pot.
it
Yeah, like,
really
like,
is.
We were looking,
It's-
we were like looking
it's
for fridges
semi-
for the house, right? We saw like
Self
it looked like a
abuse.
full-size fridge on TV.
I'm trying to put that in a nicer way.
And so like we go and look
Sounded
at it, and it's like, oh, this is actually like 3.5
Bomb pots giveth and taketh away.
Yes,
That's for
they do.
sure.
So in honor of one of the 2 NASCAR numbers that you have, what hand are we on?
We got it. This is Jeff Gordon hand.
Yes, very
The
good.
Jeff Gordon hand.
Very good. And you wouldn't guess at who the NASCAR driver is currently that has 24?
Who doesn't like saving money?
Denny Hamlin.
No.
No,
It's
who?
11. I think it's still 11. That's a good question. It's a younger driver, and so many of these younger drivers are mystery. to
I'm
me.
surprised do they not retire numbers?
Well, this is a Rick Hendrick number.
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, they will someday, but
Yeah.
they don't retire a number per se. I mean, I think technically Dale's number is still in use.
there's
So
an 8.
the 43 is still in use. They don't, as a league, retire a number.
Oh, I see.
If anybody ever would, it'd be Richard and Dale, but no, they don't retire numbers. And the owners or the owners own the numbers. So 24, 48, those numbers are
I guess
owned
if
by
you
Rick
retired them as an entire,
Yes.
I guess, league or what have you,
You
you'd
run out
slowly
pretty
run out of
quick.
numbers. yeah, you'd have a number.
franchises, I could see Rick Hendrick someday retiring the 24, but technically he purchases or owns that number from NASCAR.
Okay.
So unlike team sports where you can have 2 24s on the
Right,
field at the
right.
same time. So that's a little trivia for those of you
Yeah,
not
did
into motorsports.
I've learned multiple
I
things.
grew up with NASCAR. I'm enough of a redneck to admit that.
Got NASCAR info from Uncle T. We've got
Yeah.
the longest or largest
Lottie got me fired up. He was just a wealth of knowledge.
undammed river in Cambodia that
Yeah.
I'll be visiting.
If it was Trivial Pursuit, I'd never lose money.
So we got the ace-5 suited for just James. Flops
like both
backdoor
missed.
flush draw.
Yeah, backdoor. Oh, we did hit a 7.
Pair of 7
KC.
for KC, yeah. Seems to be hitting a lot
Creek.
of middle pairs.
Creek has been a little bit. He got that one good hand, but he's been a little quiet tonight after starting pretty hot. He'll stick around.
He's going to come along with his pair and backdoor flush draw.
There's nothing better than hitting that. You hit the low end and then you hit the high end.
Bink.
Bink.
That is 2
Boy, that
pair
was a little
for
clairvoyant. I think.
KC. Way ahead now.
Yeah. And he's up against one of the more aggressive players at the table who's going to check it back out of position. Yeah. And now Kevin's going to value bet here, I'm going to say about 125.
Yeah, I think this will shut things down. I think just James will.
He's only losing to an 8-10, so. Well, he would be good sets, obviously, could be
Yeah,
there. But
quick
kind of bluffed
fold
those.
by
Yep,
just
quick
James.
fold.
Nice spot there for Casey.
Chris, can I borrow 500?
PFR shown along the bottom, showing what percent of the time each player raises pre-flop.
I mean, I can give you
Good
Venmo
way to
if you really
measure
want, or I
aggression.
can pay at the lodge.
Casey leading the way in that category. Bertram playing a little snug. Hasn't really had any big hands, with one exception.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Kevin. My apologies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that bluff here before you tuck it away.
Okay, I am adding 300.
Got a couple players adding on, so we'll take a very short break. Kristen already dealing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I sort of resigned to bluffing any.
Thanks again, everybody, for hopping on with us. We're on hand 25. Usually we get to right around 100 hands, so about a quarter of the way through here, kind of on schedule. Shortly after 7 o'clock, we'll be going until 10 p.m. Central tonight. Got a suited King Jack, so some suited broadways for both Yes and Bertram. We'll go heads up here to a flop between the low jack and the small blind.
You can go to the ATM if you want. I don't get charged.
8-9 deuce, couple of diamonds, nobody with a diamond in their hand. Gutter for Bertram, needs a jack. Yes has 2 overs, blocks Bertram's straight draw. 6 of clubs on the turn, changes
Collect from MA.
nothing for these holdings. Does bring in 3 to a straight. 10 jack would be the nuts here.
Bought a piece of action in Dallas.
Bertram's going to check it over to Yes. I imagine Yes. He actually checks back here. It's only a $75 pot. Deuce on the river, a blank. See if Bertram takes a stab for maybe 50 bucks. He's going to check, and Yes, with the best hand, might take a stab to go ahead and win it. But he checks back, and King High is going to be good. Possibly a missed opportunity there for Bertram to go ahead and take a little stab on the river. Probably $40, $50 takes that pot down, given Yes only had King High. Bertram's played relatively snugly too, so he's going to get a little more respect for his bets. But as played, King High is good. Another pot for Yes. We've got a link in the chat if you'd like to play the TCH Houston live stream. Click the link and sign up. Hop on. We'd love to have you and watch. We got the ladies here for KC. He's got a real hand. Optimized now. He's had a lot of ace kings, ace queen suited this time, so he's going to raise it up, and KC has him dominated here with the queens. Barber's got another pair of 5s. Might be enticed to flat and try to hit a set.
Yeah, the bet sizing will probably draw him into the hand. He may be thinking about making a little bit of a maneuver here, but
yeah, unfortunately for him, if he flats, the squeeze is going to come from KC, most likely to protect his queens.
are you saying if he raises here?
I think if Barber just flats, it's going to be
Yeah.
back over to KC with.
Oh, I see.
An
Yeah.
open, yeah, he
Yeah.
could go ahead and pop it up, and we'll see what he decides to do here versus the 3-bet from Optimize.
Getting scrutinized by Optimize pretty good. Kevin is a sphinx. KC, he's a sphinx here. It's like looking at like a picture on the wall. I know. I've stared him down a couple times to no avail.
Goes ahead and repops it. He's going to make it 290 more, but 450 to go to Optimize. This is not what Optimize wanted to see, and
that turns Casey's hand over pretty much. It makes it very apparent what he has. Great fold. Again, people have a tendency to overplay that suited ace queen.
Yeah.
Especially when somebody comes back over the top of you, you got to feel like, okay.
You can continue with the ace king there, but
that's kind of the
played
card removal
ace
thoughts
queen,
in your head.
yeah.
Like, okay, that narrows the range to queens being part of it.
And there's so many flops that hit you that you're still behind. You flop queen high, you don't know if you're still up against aces.
Yep.
Kings. Yep. Ace high flop, you're losing to aces.
I always
ace king.
encourage people to watch the stream and watch the pre-flop action of these more advanced players. So it's a good learning. Kevin's bet there was going to get that kind of hand to fold, and if he comes back in for the 5-bet or the 4-bet, oh, that really.
Yeah, now you have a tough
queens.
decision with
Yeah,
queens.
those girls shrink up real fast.
Against him is good 90% of the time.
So, Yes is going to punish Barber for limping in the big blind, the straddle. So he raises his straddle. It says UTG, but he's actually the big blind in this case with the straddle.
Yeah,
so
Yes was under the gun.
makes it 75. It takes Barber's $10.
Yeah. All right. 28 hands in.
Kevin leading the way up 1.1K and actually optimized more than back after that huge cooler. He's up over $600.
Significantly in the green.
Nice
Bertram's
recovery.
been probably the quietest player tonight. He's a little over. Yes, being stuck for 1.9.
Yeah, attempted that 3-street bluff that just didn't quite get through. Really wasn't a bad play, but Optimize sniffed it out somehow.
Okay, so our conversation of the night. The last time we were together, we talked about our thing that people say that we can't stand.
Oh, wow.
So tonight we're going to talk about not the conversation negatives that have to do with the incorrect calling or labeling of something, but what is the thing that people say at the table in general that you least like to hear?
I have several of these.
Okay.
Well, so it's the way you worded that. It actually makes it a complex answer.
It is, yes.
What I least like to hear, it could be annoying, but I also might not subconsciously, but somewhat like hearing it because it makes me believe they're probably a weak player. So while annoying, I can now kind of. They're sort of giving me information of how they think.
I know what you're going to say. This is a good thing.
There's several different things. One is any kind of like strong superstitions about.
Oh, interesting.
If they believe that the dealer is at fault for the bad hands they're getting, or they want a deck change. I often think that the more somebody believes that luck or something like that impacts their profit or loss, typically the weaker I kind of consider them.
I agree.
The other one,
changing. We had a player last night that moved seats 4 times.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Another would be, and this was a recent one. Well, it's not the only time it's happened by any means, but people that call bomb pots bingo, or
I have a tendency to say that.
Well, it's fair if you mean it probably the way that you mean it, but there is a significant amount of strategy in
Oh,
bomb
yeah.
pots, and if somebody can't see that, I assume that probably they don't have a sound strategy across the board.
Yeah.
So
I say it is a PLO player out of bitterness.
fair enough. And you know, after I get scooped in a large bomb pot, I may feel the same way
Yeah.
at times. But those would be a few off the top of the head. What about you?
Well, not to talk over two hands in a row because yes has got queens here.
Yeah, we do have queens.
I'll give you mine after we get to a less intense time here. Doesn't really have anybody that can call him. Optimize my call with
Yeah.
suited queen.
Yes,
He raised to 300 after a $90 bet by Optimize.
Yes has been pretty aggressive too.
Minus 3K.
Yeah, he's definitely been the bigger aggressor
So
so far. The biggest aggressor.
one of the benefits is you can get some lighter action if you have that aggressive image, but Optimize really just with a kind of nothing ball here. He's going to come along, though.
I think for just the reasons you just said.
He's in position. He has that going for him as well.
Yeah. Another factor.
Anybody want 12 points? I'll take James Madison.
Ooh,
Wow.
you do get middle pair for Optimize. Just one spade. I was quietly hoping there would be another spade, then we might see some fireworks, but
Yep. This might be enough. Middle pair to an aggressive player out of position.
yeah, if he puts him on some kind of Broadway holding,
I
which-
might check. Okay, there you go. That is a trappy check, which for an aggressive player, Optimize has got to think this is because he made a good call pre-flop.
he's going to step into it a little bit here. He's going to
Oh.
bet big. He bets
Full five?
about
300.
3/4
Okay,
pot, a little
300.
more.
Yep.
It is a connected board. If somehow
A little
Optimize
bit.
played like an 8-9 suited, obviously he's crushed. But
It's
yeah,
not. It's
pretty
not.
sure.
It's not a desert, but it's not super moist either.
Optimize hating. Oh, and Optimize turns the flush draw. He's got a pair and a flush draw now.
Yeah, the equity just shifted a little bit more in his favor. He's still
he's
behind Queen.
got
significantly.
9
He's still
outs.
a 3-1 dog, but
And on top of that, we now have an overcard to
6-4.
Guess's queen.
Yeah.
So terrible turn, really, for Yes.
now he's got what I call river equity. Right now he's like, I think I've got river value here to not do anything.
See if Optimize, he turns the flush draw equity. He might be tempted to check back and see if he can get there or continue his aggression. He does check back. He's
Yeah. I
going to
think
pray
that's
for a queen, 7, or spade. It does not come.
And the king is in the range of the pre-flop aggression. Ace, king, king, queen, kings. Not that you would put him on kings at this point, or you wouldn't have called pre-flop. Let's see what that's going to slow also Yes down because for the exact reverse reasons. This is in his.
This is a perfect blocker bet situation,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I think
What
I would
size
bet
would you make it?
350 or so.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you.
And if you get raised, you can fold. You can maybe get called by worse, maybe a 10
Yeah.
on the flop.
Ace
But
10, 10-9.
you prevent
Jack
the
10,
possibility
yeah.
of checking it over, Optimize him making it $1,000 and you really not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
He goes bigger, but
Yeah.
still just about half pot, so semi blockish. I think Optimize has to shut down here.
Yeah, he does.
Where's the closest Taco Bell? Right here.
Boy, there's some good poker strategy going on in these hands. But the heads up almost exclusively, so we haven't had multiplayer pots. Yep, good fold.
Gets away from it.
Yep, lost, but at the same time, didn't take a big hit. Okay, so the thing, we were talking about this last night at the table. What I hate to hear a player say, it does the same thing that you're talking about, where you kind of gives you a feeling for that player, is I know you had blah, blah, blah. When
Oh, yes.
I
that's
knew you
up
had
there.
queen, king, queen.
Yeah.
I knew you had aces.
Uh-huh.
Now, when it's somebody that I'm not real fond of, I have a tendency to come back and say, that's interesting because I would have thought if you were clairvoyant, you'd be a better poker player.
Yeah.
Yeah. you know, that's kind of like, oh, I knew. A more experienced player said, yeah, I put you on, blah, blah, blah. Or, yeah, that was in your range.
Right.
And,
That
you know,
was in your range
Yeah.
gets so much more respect
Yes.
than, yeah, I put
I
you
know
on
you had-
exactly, or I knew you had that.
Yeah.
Well, and the best is when somebody goes ahead and makes a call, loses, and says, oh, I knew you had that. Well, clearly you didn't.
Well, so you're either clairvoyant or stupid, which is, or both.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the, I think the 10 out of 10.
Yes, on the nerd scale, or
yeah,
what do you call
or
it?
just
Dork
saying
scale?
the one of the dumbest things you can possibly at a poker table.
Yes.
is, yeah, that's up there. The other one is commonly somebody will try some kind of bluff or something like that. Player has not ace king, and they're always like, "Oh yeah, I put you on ace king." They always choose ace king as what that seems to be the number one thing that people will say they put you on. So that one's
And this is where I get to have fun sometimes at the table when somebody tells me what they knew I had. Because if I don't show them a hand, they go, I knew you had jacks. I'm like, wow. Now, I just folded a complete bluff.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow, nice read.
very often I tell people that
Sets
if
them
I'm
up for the
bluffing,
next nice read.
I got there or whatever. So we got a good hand brewing here
Yeah.
between Just James and Yes. Yes has the jacks now, back-to-back hands, queens, and now jacks. Just James with 2 overs with his ace-queen offsuit.
All right.
Also, Just James nearly pot committed already.
Yeah,
Set.
I know. I was just about to say, all right, what do you do here when you're that?
And I think Just James is going to probably – oh, looks like the amounts are off here. Just James actually has more like 700, so maybe we didn't get the
I
add-on
started to say, I'm looking at
updated.
his stack going, how did we get to 398?
So
He had 500 in front of him in greens alone.
I'd imagine Yes is just going to call here and try to get Just James to
one buy-in, like whatever the
give
buy-in,
him
like
another
100
street of
buy-in,
value,
like half, right? So in case the game gets really deep,
possibly 2.
3K, 5K, then you cap it. 100,000.
Yep.
Just calls.
Just a flatty.
Never mind. You're good. I can't.
10 on the turn would be devastating for Yes.
Yeah, it's about the only way out of this hand, and that is not it.
Huge blank. 3 of diamonds. Just James has to decide, is he going to keep bluffing at this? Semi-bluffing. Does have the gut shot. Probably thinks his ace would be good. And he stuffs it, and it's going to get snapped.
Wow.
Pot is bigger than as shown, as Just James has a little bit more money, and
Yeah,
they're
they're
going to
running it twice,
twice.
but there's no way for him to get there. So even with the spade coming, Yes was feeling pretty confident.
Nice win there for Yes.
Well, you don't, I have a lot of respect for Just James. He's a great player, really, really good. Been playing since he was like 3 or 5 or something. He told me his grandma taught him to play. Yeah, he doesn't misstep like that very often. He's usually dead on with his reads. That just shows it can happen to anybody.
Can happen to anybody, and
Jam into a
also,
monster.
you know, it says something about a player's skill level as well, that they'll take that shot at that bluff there.
Yeah.
He's representing a big hand. He obviously does not know that a set was flopped by Yes, so that is going to work a reasonable percentage of the time.
Yep. All right, so tell me, chatters, we got 150 of you out there. What is your most irritating thing to hear at the table?
Did you want to come in on this hand, James?
That just like nails, fingernails on a chalkboard. Like, oh my gosh,
Do I have to post?
what
Oh, hey, I'll just
did they just say to me?
All right, never mind.
What is that thing you hate to hear, or maybe it's amusing to you?
The one that I'm going to have more and more of these through. This is one of my
Go.
favorite topics. The other one is someone that kind of, it's funny because we're doing this right now, but we're supposed to, but somebody that essentially narrates all the action as it happens, even hands they're not in. That is
If
extraordinarily
you're not on the
irritating.
live stream, shut the heck up.
Yeah, if you're not wearing a headset, please don't narrate the action.
Which is another irritating thing. The loud earphone talker.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, you get that, how much?
Yeah. Or the action's constantly on them, and they're trying to watch a
You see
TV
that more
show.
in tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, because they are a grind, I understand you want to kind of have, you know, yeah. You kind of want to have a distraction. But there's one particular player that I play tournaments with who does both. Or he tells you, oh, yeah, I had ace queen there. And you're like, yeah, but you were not in the hand. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really care what you had.
Right,
Or
right.
they say, yeah, I put you on jack 10. Or they just constantly kind of commentate. It's like, they're not in the hand. Like, oh, you know, I thought I had you on jack 10 and I had you on 9s. And you're like, yeah, I'm at a
Or the person that, I mean, I'll do it sometimes, just quietly, maybe be like, oh man, I had 7-4, and it, you know, it would have made a straight
there's
or a
nothing
full
wrong
house.
with
But the person that stops the whole table in and out, oh man, if I'd have played 7-4, I would have won. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, throughout the course of a tournament or a session, you're going to fold a lot of hands that would have won if you played it to the river.
There's a player here. There's 3 Toms that play here regularly in the tournaments. I'm Old Thomas. There's a Young Thomas, and then there's a guy we call A-Hole Thomas.
I
You know exactly who that is.
Yeah, I know who the last one
And
is.
he embraces it. But he takes pictures sometimes of his foldings because he'll say, yeah, I had the nuts. And I'm like, yeah, you always say that. So now he's like, well, actually take pictures
to prove
to me that he did, because I say, you know, you say that all
Yeah,
the
he
time.
thrives off of that. He's a fun guy to play with. But
Oh, I love him.
I
love him. But he's
So we've rivered a pair of aces versus a mystery hand by KC. We don't know what
are we
KC
in the tank
has.
with KC?
So yes, likely is good here with his ace. I guess we can kind of play along in Yes's hand because we don't know what KC has.
Yeah.
Looks like he'll go for some value. Oh, big value. He overbets the pot.
Yeah. 1.5 the pot.
Trying to look bluffy, maybe get called by a 6 or a 7. KC.
Yeah, evidently KC didn't have much, maybe a 7.
Looks like it flashed up. He had pocket 3s is what it appeared to
yeah.
show
Yeah,
there
that
at
makes
the last second. So was actually ahead until the river. But not a lot of reason to put more money into that pot if you're KC.
Yeah, you know, the other thing I think when somebody is doing that running commentary is that they're revealing way too much about themselves at the table.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. If I speak at a table about a hand that I had or the way I played it or something like that, I'm thinking about what this is portraying to the rest of the table.
Yeah.
It's at least somewhat calculated.
Yes. Yeah, you know, there's a famous old saying that says, you know, it's okay to let people think, or for people to think you're stupid.
Oh,
But
yeah.
opening your mouth and removing all doubt is the worst thing you can do. So,
I will say though that if you do something and you think that the perception of the table is that you're stupid, you can also use that to your advantage. Basically, the whole key is it doesn't matter what everyone thinks of you as long as you know what they think of you and can
use that table image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the exploitive side of poker versus
Yeah.
the GTO.
Yeah. There's that. Then there's the numbers, and then there's the psychology.
Got top pair here for Optimize. He's way in front.
Way in front with 2 pair.
Only an ace on the river for Barber could ruin
Makes the
his
call
Cheerios.
with the overs, he thinks. Nope, no joy.
No such luck, so bet fold here.
Well, we want to thank all of you that have joined us on our TCH Austin live stream. 2.5 is the game size. We're about an hour and a half into it, and we appreciate you joining us on a Monday night. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather, Austin. With South by Southwest, which is where I was all weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I was at the Military Innovation
Awesome.
at Capitol Factory. Very enjoyable, great group. Got to see one of my idols, Temple Grandin, amazing woman. Basically invented the humane treatment of farm animals.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, yeah, she's autistic, severely autistic, and but could read, and we talk about reading people at the poker table. She could read the animals and
Oh, cool.
sense their stress levels. Yeah, got to hear her speak. She was awesome. So
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff that unfortunately I've already missed, but I need to get on top of the schedule so maybe I can take the train down there, avoid all the traffic. And
well, there was a lot. There was a lot of downtown was kind of closed off and setting up for the festivities this week between the arts and the sciences and the technology and all that is South by Southwest. Nationally recognized innovation and technical and arts festival, for lack of a better word.
yeah, great week to come to Austin.
Oh,
Check
yeah.
out South by Southwest.
Not going to find a
Come
hotel
play some
now.
poker.
It's a little late, but yeah.
KC with the suited ace jack here versus the suited one gapper. Believe we have trip sevens.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Do
Yeah,
have trip
Barber.
sevens for Barber. Takes the commanding lead.
And he gets bet into, which is always nice. KC.
I would like to have seen him take a little longer to think about the call, but
Yeah.
it's just very easy call there.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have a heart draw, but that looks like a king or a 7. Very high percentage of the time. He's now got the
And Kevin being the kind of
100%
player
equity.
that would pick up on that snappiness.
Yeah, so he checks right over, and or I'm sorry, Barber actually leads
Yeah,
out.
leads out with 135. Okay, this would be a pretty quick call.
Yeah,
for
this
Kevin. He doesn't have anything to hold on to. Yeah. A little unfortunate for a premium, but it doesn't even matter about the 7. Kevin's folding to a king draw or a king holding. Well, the other part from we're not getting any response from y'all in the chat. What is your irritating thing that people say at the table? The other thing is, what is the irritating thing that people do?
West Texas. And Twist the same.
Oh, I've actually, I believe I've said it on the stream before. I don't mind saying it again. Is when somebody either slams the table,
Oh, yeah.
or, but probably more so than, actually for sure more than that, is when they forcefully fold, like muck or fold their
Oh, yeah,
hand
fire
at
'em
the
back.
dealer.
Yeah.
And I understand poker can be frustrating and tilting at times, but don't take that out on anyone around you.
Yep.
And certainly not. I had a conversation with the dealer here at TCH, and it's as simple as you shouldn't have things thrown at you when you're at work. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
that's a
don't,
great
you
way
don't
to
walk
put it.
into Subway and
Somebody
if you
throws
get
a
the
pack of
wrong
mayonnaise
flavored
at you.
chips,
Yeah.
throw the chips at the person.
Yeah,
that's
that's
working
exactly
the counter.
right.
Producer Mel's going to weigh in here.
Got where it's supposed to be.
The what?
2 check. 3 check.
Oh,
Oh,
they say
so-
that? Mel said that a player said to her, "We need a real dealer."
That's level 10 rude.
Boy, that is
Yeah.
like a real dealer. I don't
Or
even know
when
what-
somebody asks the dealer, like, how much longer is your down, or
No, you're-
how
you're
long
just-
until
yeah,
you,
how long till you're
there's a
gone?
for those that maybe don't play live as much, there's about a 30-minute rotation
Yep.
of dealers. So,
Yeah.
I've heard people ask that, and usually it's because they're
I actually heard a player the other day tell one of the nicest dealers and a very competent dealer in Berg. Very, very competent dealer, one of my favorites. "You'll never deal another hand to me again." And I immediately fired back at this fairly hot-headed person. Well, he hopes so.
yeah, perfect.
Because, like, you're no privilege to deal to, So, "You'll never deal me another hand." Yes.
Yes.
And that's why I go back to Mel. She's saying that you always have all the negatives thrown at you. Okay, if you're going to be negative, fine. But when you win a big pot because they absolutely coolered your opponent by giving you what you needed, and it was a very low percentage, then tip them well. Because you got to have both sides to the yin and the yang. You're going to be an a-hole, be a generous a-hole.
Right. So we've got trip queen, for Kevin Y here on the bottom board. Barber's got 2 pair on top, but he loses to king 10. Nobody has king 10. Fortunately for him, however, that is a scary board for 2 pair, especially in a bomb pot.
He definitely is a great player.
Nobody with clubs.
Talks about
Club draw on both boards.
the way he talks about playing
Nut clubs, or excuse me, nut diamonds for KC. So he's going to come along and try to hit a diamond along with his 2 pair.
usually typically smarter than your average person.
Diamonds brick out, but ace jack's still good on the top. Or excuse me, ace 10. So he actually makes the straight here, and Kevin has the trip queens on the bottom. Casey's just going to check his straight. Kevin goes full pot. Pretty aggressive play for since he did not boat up, but losing to 10, 7s, deuces. Goes bet call, and they're going to win a small profit there.
Yeah, I guarantee you that the way that Kevin threw his cards, or KC threw his cards down, he's like, I'm getting quartered. It's that first thought you have when you get Broadway,
Yeah.
especially when you get a 4-card Broadway.
Yes,
You're like, how am I not getting quartered here?
straights are often overvalued by less experienced
Yep.
players.
I always say the worst thing that I can have is the wheel,
Yes.
because by definition, it's almost always.
Yeah. You
It has to be ace deuce 3 for you to have the nuts
right.
with 4 5, and it's never that.
And especially if you flop it, the likelihood that's
Oh,
still
yeah.
going to be the best hand by the river, and you're not getting quartered or
Flopping
very
flopping
low.
straights is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not time to fist pump when you
No.
flop a straight in a bomb pot.
That's another way that I see recreational players making bomb pot mistakes.
Start piling money in with
Jam
straight.
away. Now, if there's a bet and a bet, I understand a call. Yeah, maybe getting quartered, but at least there's some dead money in there.
Right.
Bet and a call. But, yeah, firing away at a flop straight is poker. It's bomb pot suicide.
A couple of 7s here for KC. He's going to raise it up to 40. Barber.
That's why our day players always say, this game doesn't start on a bomb pot, doesn't start until the turn.
Yeah, they have like Johnny vibes.
Gets a call from Yes with a suited queen.
Johnny vibes who visited in like 2017.
Looking for diamonds. Only one.
It's interesting. You can really
Does hit
tell, like,
bottom
who the
pair.
position the whales
Goes
were,
check,
on those
check.
posters by just who is not
7s
around.
are did not hit bottom pair. I thought
Do
it
you
was
have a
queen
gutter
4.
now for the 7s?
Does have a gutter.
I think there's like 4 people that are still around. Bones is one of them. That's on the posters at the watch.
Yes, may take this down with a little aggression here.
Yeah, this is
Although 6 is, Kevin's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why? Why does the 6 help you? You think I put you on 5-7?
it's a really good and tough call, really, from KC. You're beat by a lot here. That's a good river card.
it really is.
It just
It really
reduces the chances your opponent has a jack, although
Yeah.
if they do have a jack, they get stronger, but you were already losing, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
Well, he's
Check,
just going to check
check.
it back.
I would imagine KC just takes his showdown value here. Really no reason to bet.
No, because you're only getting called by better hands.
Yeah, exactly. Check, check.
You got the money.
Nicely played. KC, good
You get a notification.
call on the flop there. Or excuse me, the turn.
I would never stiff you.
All right, looking at our player stacks.
Never stiff you.
Um,
I mean, I
Don't
live
really
here.
know
My
why
dad
we're not
lives
seeing the
Maybe when you
over-under.
move to Dallas, I can stiff you.
But player stacks right now, Yes is got 42.75 in front of him. Although he's in for quite a bit. I don't know. I haven't seen that before. Have you seen it where it doesn't give us the over-under?
Yeah,
It just
for some
gives us
our
stack
graphic's
size?
not showing profit loss at the moment, but
Interesting.
optimized, it was his second bullet, so he's up, I believe,
And
around
I think Yes had a bullet too as well. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Yes actually
I know just
bluffed
James
it,
had to-
is
yeah.
off to optimize, so
Yeah.
those 4K stacks are actually only marginally profitable at the moment.
And
but
they may not even be correct. So
Watched the Barbie movie yesterday. Like the first 2/3 of it.
clubs. And now diamonds. Everybody's playing their suited holdings.
You guys seen it? Any of you seen the Barbie movie? You seen it? I feel like you've had to have seen it.
Give us 2 clubs on this flop. We'll see some fireworks. Oh, no.
Oh, Barber took it
Everybody
down.
folds. Barber takes it down.
I
All right, now,
haven't seen the ending yet.
we had it and it's gone.
She died.
All right, nope, it's gone again. All right, I'm going to wait for it to hold it for a second. All right,
There we go.
Casey's up 1.2. Kevin's having a good night. He got bluffed into pretty strongly. He had a set.
I think it's like a decent message. Like, it's pretty good message.
Don't know why this is cycling like that. Just James again down that 1.1.
It was pretty good marketing. By
Jamming his ace-queen into those set of jacks. I think that was Kevin. I don't know.
Not true. It's 100%.
Everybody else is kind of evenly spread across the board.
No one believes in anything.
Yeah, Optimize just over even after being stuck big early with set over set. So nice recovery from him.
Bertram probably our tightest player so far. Done a lot of folding tonight. Frankly, he's been card dead. I've been
really
watching
haven't
his
seen him
hands.
wake up with anything.
No.
He had the one big hand that he got his initial bullet back from, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's somewhat card dead. Always really frustrating on stream as well because you don't want to seem like a nit. You kind of want to show off for your friends if they're watching.
Yeah.
But
That's why it takes a lot of discipline not to do that. I did something that was extremely rare for me. I played the PLO live stream a few weeks ago and was card dead for 3 hours, and that's hard to do in PLO.
I was there with you, sir.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I think I even bitched at you then about it.
Yeah, I had some hands, but my equity did not hold up.
Yeah.
But
That's the other
it wasn't
frustrating
in PLO terms. It was no disaster.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
it's almost worse to get gray PLO hands and then have the boards just.
Yeah.
That's more frustrating. That is a tease, a poker tease.
Yeah, Bertram with only an 11% VPIP, but as we said, really a victim of his holdings.
Just James with one of my favorite hands. I love the way King Queen of Hearts looks.
It is a pretty hand.
It's just a happy marriage between 2 lovely cards that love each other.
I didn't really know where he was going the whole time until the whole
Yes is going to raise up a worse king here. And just James, we'll see if he 3-bets this.
Yeah, considering he's down a little bit, he might.
He's from the straddle, yeah, so he's going to attack that button raise. And
Yep. Fortunately, Yes has got nothing to call him with.
Yes thinks better of it.
It's like song.
But yeah.
All right, we are, how many hands are we into this? 38.
Cruising along.
Cruising along.
Okay, not mine.
Kristen is
Yeah, give away the whole plot.
racking them up.
Mutilation one.
She's only got about 15 minutes left on her session.
Badly infected. No, dude, this guy gets turned into a walrus.
If you just heard, my phone thought I was talking to it.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
They like
Siri, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's like human centipede.
it's like worse than I think it's worse than that kind of. It's just disturbing. It's like I hope
If
that
y'all didn't hear that, Siri, I called her an idiot, and she said that's not
I hope
nice.
some guy never kidnaps me.
And she's like every other woman in my life. Doesn't like it when I get mean.
Another raise from KC. He's got a suited connector, 6-7 of clubs. Just James with
And-
another king.
Yep, a little bit of a button squeeze. It's a good hand on the button. Just James is gonna look at that. Oh, he came over the top of it. What is that, 140?
His second 3-bet in a row. See if KC reads into that. He does have a good big hand
I like this
buster.
hand a lot. Yeah, I might have to look him up.
He's
He
going
also
to have
has played
position.
enough with Just James to know that he can be aggressive.
Man, I'm really agreeing.
And you know what? If you miss your flop, you just fade into the sunset.
Sorry, I gotta go.
But that is a big miss.
Yeah, C-bet here from Just James is probably going to do the trick. Has all the aces with his 3-bet.
Like 3 people behind you.
No pair, no draw for KC.
Yep, he's going to take his time to look like he's thinking hard about this. He's actually paying his utility bill in his head.
How much electricity have I used this month?
Dang it, I told the wife to turn off the garage door light, and this thing got up over $100.
Couple decent pots there, 3-betting for Just James.
Yeah, you know, I've seen Just James get down before. He's usually ahead, but he will loosen up his range and ramp up his aggression. So it's a little bit of a fasten your seatbelts if you get in a hand with him.
Yeah, if he thinks you might be raising a little wide, he's not afraid to 3-bet you and put you in tougher spots.
Yeah, Kevin's also good at that.
Kevin actually optimizes at really almost everyone at the table. I won't call out the couple players that may be less apt to do that, but most of this table is going to punish.
I've had to adjust my live stream game because of those players. Where I'm like, I'm not going to just raise to 30, 35, 40 anymore. I got to come. If I'm going to play a hand that's strong, I got to act like it's strong.
Ace Queen 7 flop here, rainbow. Nobody with a pair here. Do have a gutter for optimize. He bets and wins. Small one.
Chris has also been kind of card dead tonight. Chris is a really good player.
Yeah, not much for Chris.
He and I really enjoy playing with each other because being from the Northeast like he is, my table talk in hands with him really throws him for a loop. We've had several hands where at the end he's like, I couldn't, what you said, I couldn't figure out whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. So now it's kind of become a thing between us, and he never says a word.
Yeah, he's the less talkative type. If you hear him talk about poker, though, he knows poker.
He's got a big brain.
Zero doubt. Yeah, looks like we got a $25 straddle. Barber's going to raise the stakes.
On the original, I was like, this is really bad.
The original you thought was really bad?
Yeah.
I like the one where they're
Suited connector for Just James. Going to raise it up for the third hand in a row. He's 3-better.
We've seen those suited connector clubs several times. None of them have hit particularly well. Barber's probably going to call with 2 broadways.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Does have to play it out of position.
Yep.
Not a great spot to be in against a player like Just James, but
Kind of got it.
You're not supposed to really in the first game.
Really?
There's a lot going on.
flops top pair here.
Yeah.
And it looks like we got an open ender for Just James. So action flop, folks. Just James is.
He does have the dummy in, which make him a little less aggressive, but he's gonna call him off at least one street.
Yeah, you definitely don't play the 6-5 suited to fold when
He's a
it comes
4 or 9.
7-8.
Yeah, that is we've had some absolute whiffs on these
Blank
hands.
on the turn. Barber.
Ooh, he's going to turn it into maybe representing the combo draw. Gets a little aggressive, throws some out at Just James. Probably thinking blocker. Well, no, I guess he's not. I thought James was on the button, but he's actually the small blind.
Just James might. Yeah, looks like he's got flatting chips.
He is the button.
He does. Yeah, he does flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barber was in the double straddle. Rivers a jack of hearts. Brings in backdoor flush. Just James whiffs. Has to decide if he's going to bluff with this or give up.
These are 2 of our smaller stacks at the table, so.
Barber, I'm sure in the back of his mind, is a little worried that he's now behind at Queen Jack.
Or hearts. Some sort of weak hearts.
Just James gives up. Good. You know, sometimes the best play is to wave the white flag and save that final barrel.
Yep.
It's always so tempting to go for it.
Yeah, it is, especially when the draws come in.
Yeah, good
One
check
of
there
them.
by Just James.
Yeah.
And Barber is, he's going to have top pair there and be calling a
Almost
very high
always.
percentage of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
He looked pretty comfortable making those calls.
Well, folks, we're coming up on our 2-hour mark. Really appreciate you joining us here at TCH Austin for our 2-5 live stream.
And if you can't play at TCH Austin or prefer to play up in Dallas, we do have our even bigger one coming up. 8 flights, $250,000 guaranteed. Just a $300 buy-in. It's a good, comfortable amount. So bring in some of the maybe lower level players in terms of what they're comfortable with.
Nice,
but
good 30K starting stack. I like those bigger
30-minute
stacks.
levels, so plenty of play. So
Yeah.
you
Pretty
don't have
fast.
to worry about being all in or fold immediately. Got some raggedy hands here. Barber does have a middle pair, so does Chris.
That is the raggediest of raggedy we've seen so far.
Now a diamond draw for Chris.
And a gutter.
And a pair. He's
got a combo draw to the 9 or diamond.
Way ahead here.
I'm going to build that pot a little bit, Barber.
Hits the flush on the river.
Yeah. Yeah. Bink.
Went from very ahead to totally ahead. Cannot lose.
With this kind of holding, how often are you afraid of a bigger diamond? Bigger diamond hand?
does say something else.
Not unless I get raised. And if I get raised, I'm still probably going to have to call within reason. What about you?
It's like there are two different kinds of thoughts. There's the purely analytical thought, and then there's emotional thought. And I hate it. In my mind, is like, don't think that way.
Yeah.
You know, you got this far. Act like you knew what you were doing the whole time.
Yeah, the 10 high, and he didn't get raised by Barber pre-flop too, so that takes out a lot of the
that raise
aces,
out of there.
kings.
Yeah, and
queens.
actually with the 10-7, you want him to have a big block. He's more likely to call. But yeah, I see recreational players lose those. They call too many times over bets.
Oh yeah.
I got clubs. Yeah, you had the 4-9 of clubs. And you got crushed by ace queen clubs. But again, I think that's about putting your opponent on a hand and having that thought expand or contract as you go through the hand. That range of hands. So.
Yeah, totally agree. And also, if somebody is kind of just flatting, playing it like they have a draw, and then you both get there. Oh,
speak of the devil himself,
the New York Knit.
New York Knit, the Long Island Log Jam.
The Long Island Lottie.
Yeah, the Long Island Lottie. Thank you. Now, why couldn't I think of that alliteration? He has joined in seat 2.
And I don't even get past one player.
I think we're flipped. I think he's in seat 8, but yeah, William Lottie hopping in seat 8. He's
I'm poker dyslexic.
a regular. I think it was the camera angle, but
Yeah, maybe that too.
But no, Lottie, one of our
wearing his
hosts here.
911 shirt, his 930 or 959, whatever that Porsche is. Shirt.
Bertram finally with a hand, doesn't get any action.
Yeah, poor Bertram. Yeah. He's probably looking for a seat change. Not going to happen.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows. He'll probably have his heater.
Yeah.
Still got a couple hours to go.
Yeah. That's a great thing about it. Be patient. If you're going to do a 4-hour session like this or even longer, it's almost impossible to stay card dead that whole time.
I agree, and actually on that thought, one of the thoughts I try to remind myself on the way to TCH and as I sit down is to not let it come to you. Don't force the action. If you sit down and you're like, I got to win right away. did my study. I tried to improve. And I
Right.
want to impart all this knowledge. Or I think that maybe there's, players that I stand to win from at the table. Let it come to you.
Oh, yeah. And never target a player as somebody that you're going after. I used to have to fight that thought a lot.
Yeah. I have to. If somebody, to our previous conversation about things that can be annoying at the poker table, I do have to fight the urge to try to be the person that stacks that person or
Well,
whatever.
I had a very good PLO player tell me once when I got big, I had the dominant stack in our PLO tournament. Come outside, and I was just really getting into the PLO tournaments, and he said, just remember, you're not the sheriff. So it's kind of the same thought process. Don't go after anybody. Don't try to eliminate competition. I've had players say, I'm coming after you, and I'm like, I hope so.
Yeah, good luck.
Good, yeah. I really want you to, because that tells me exactly what kind of player you are and what kind of hands I should play against you.
You're going to overplay something. You're going to bluff into me when I,
Which means you are like
have the nuts.
running into the trap.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I try to tell myself, look, you let it come to you, and don't try to create the good spot. When you're getting the good spot, you know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that poker, it can be a creative psychologically, but it is not at all creative. It is purely mathematical from a card standpoint. So you cannot force it. It's very obdurate. It's like resistant to that.
Think about all the different promos available.
That's one thing that I like about a lot of these guys' games is they're very flexible. They don't get tilted. They can steam, but steam for them is it's pretty low boil.
Right.
It's not
That's a lot of
shooting out in the
Well, and they've been there and done that. Like, so I kind of keep using the example because it was a good one. But Optimize is stuck within, I think it was the first 20 hands or so with that set over set, and he's had that happen before. He knows that he can rebound, and he has.
Yep. Yeah.
Got a raise
I've even
from
gotten
Lottie.
in the habit, unless I get a really premium hand, to take a couple of hands off. Don't leave the table, but take a couple of hands off. If I get steamed by a cooler or by a player that's getting on my last nerve, as my the former Mrs. Gardner used to say, jumping on my last nerve, I'll take a little bit of that off.
So ace-4 suited for Lottie, going to a flop versus Chris's pair of sixes. No set for Chris. Gutter for Lottie to the wheel, needs a 3 now. Has backdoor heart potential. He's going to bet it, and Chris, only one overcard, so he's going to come along. He actually is still ahead.
Have you ever hit it?
Bink.
Bink.
Welcome to the table, Lottie.
How much?
Makes the wheel on one of his first, I think, 5 hands, maybe less.
And Chris is looking at himself thinking, or looking at Lottie and saying, well, I'm the one with the gut shot, and the second pair makes a great
Quick
fold.
fold. Yeah.
Oh, he knows aggression from Lottie is not the same as aggression from one of these other players.
Yeah. Nice hand for Lottie.
Welcome to the table, Long Island Lottie, the New York Knit.
You got to get money in the pot some point there, but, Lottie, we can see the cards, of course, but a check there maybe gets him some more value from a bluff from Chris, or maybe on the river.
He's praying that he's got that. What was it, queen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a pair of queens and a weaker kicker as played. Well, we haven't been 100% to showdown by everyone, so ignore the numbers below. Get some of that corrected here in the future, but I think our stack sizes are relatively accurate in B pips.
Yep. Kind of settled into a rhythm now. Not anything real. Haven't had a lot of multiplayer pots.
Yeah, no big. We haven't had like a 3-way all in. Or
Yeah.
We also haven't had in
big
each
pair
stream. It
versus pair?
seems.
Not that
Yeah,
time.
big pocket pair over big pocket pair. It seems to happen at least once a stream.
Yeah.
My hand was close.
We did have the set versus set, sevens versus two.
Yeah, the set over set, of course,
That's
much
about-
more
Oh, you owe me
rare and
100.
just a awful spot
You owe me
for
100.
the lower set.
No.
Dream scenario,
I was
actually.
giving you a free roll.
I've been on the beneficiary of that a couple times in the last 2 weeks, so
Yep.
at some point when I don't run good, I have to remind myself
This too shall pass.
of
Yeah.
the good times.
Yes.
No, that wasn't
No.
part of the terms.
What was the term?
That was not part of the terms.
Looks like we got a little bit of a side bet discussion going on.
Let's look at the.
Optimize has been the ace-king captain tonight.
He
He
has.
said it, I believe this is his fourth or fifth time.
Yes.
If you don't make it,
He's had ace-king suited at least one other time.
$100. If you make it 2 weeks.
Casey of a playable ace-10 on the button. He's going to 3-bet.
For a week for $100?
Okay, I guess I do remember that, but I
Yeah, those were the terms. You just assumed it was whoever.
Interesting to see if Optimize goes for the 4-bet. Kevin
No.
I have to keep going to 2.
Yes, of course.
possibly with bad intentions here, considering cold 4-betting as a squeeze with just king 7. Oh, I'm sorry. It actually was. I thought he had cards. We're on just James.
Just James.
Yeah, I was looking at the
Yeah.
graphics there.
Oh,
Now
well,
we
that
have it.
explains it.
Not pair over pair, but ace king versus queens is a classic race.
About how, oh yeah, he's gonna cave before I do. It's an easy $100. Last week
The
that was all
4-bet
he
to
thought.
255
Like,
from
literally
just
sunken
James.
eyes.
Just James's stack size.
Yeah, Optimize is
Optimize.
evaluating that stack
Yeah,
size.
I believe Optimize will probably be
He may jam
stuffing it here.
Yeah.
KC will be folding.
I just needed some incentive. Yeah.
He's got another one.
Just James had the incorrect stack size earlier, so I'm wondering if that's been up. He may have more behind. We
Yeah. Without eating anything.
be able to see on the camera here in a moment once.
Yeah, it
action's on him.
was low by about $300 before. We'll see if that's the case.
Wow,
Yeah.
Optimize folds the ace king suited.
Optimize has made some good folds tonight.
Make it a
That's-
No.
looks like
I had
KC's
just
going to
tried
look
a
him
week.
up.
Wow. A lot of folks may not realize if you look at the equities, it looks ugly, but ace 10 actually still has 30% equity against queens.
Even with the ace being gone.
To pick you up and bring
Oh,
Oh, this is gonna
that
be
is
painful.
top pair for
top.
KC, and he is
Top.
in a bad
Yeah,
spot
this
now.
is a great. He does have the club redraw, backdoor, but
Okay, looks like we did have just James's
Yeah,
stack
his stack
correct.
was-
Yeah, he's gonna.
well, he had a 500 chip on top there.
Yeah, I
So
think he
I think
has.
he had 700 or 725 about that. It's hard to say. It says 630.
I can't imagine KC folding
That's
top
right.
pair, top kicker here. I mean, it
No.
does look like an overpair, but
I know a guy, but his power lead's a little higher than your entire
he's
hand.
getting
He could also
Almost-
put him on club draw.
3 to 1.
I mean, what would it be? Ace, king,
He
or
does call.
clubs?
You only don't. I prefer twice, but
Not dead.
Not
He has
showing.
twice, 2 times.
I think I'd run it twice.
gonna win this a quarter of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a club. No help to KC.
Ace or 10.
Yeah.
No
No
help.
joy.
Nice hand for just James.
Yeah. Big comeback. It's going to help get him back towards to the green. Not a bad call. Very understandable call with top.
Yeah, I mean, if you call the 4-bet there and you flop top, it's,
Yeah, you're kind of locked in at that point. What could be a better flop than that? I guess
Yeah,
ace,
I mean-
obviously. Or we knew one of the aces was off the table.
At what point is the bet over?
It means what it means.
that said, just James has all the overpairs there, so
Looks like we're going to the bomb pot. No? No, still one more hand before we
What do you guys think? There was nothing in there at all. It was just you make it.
at the end of Kristen's shift. They
Unclear,
usually
it's pretty
we.
clear. It's not in
Oh, that's right. When the new dealer starts,
new dealer,
it'll be
yeah.
the bomb pot then.
Probably here
Right.
very shortly.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Don't know
mention
who's coming in the
something
box,
to you,
but I'm
but
sure it'll be
it's on
somebody that
text message.
we like because we like them all. It's Jesse's coming
It
in.
was literally
Well, we love Jesse,
Okay, you're coming.
unless I'm playing mixed game with him,
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
and I don't like him much.
Very good mixed game player.
Oh, just crazier than a March hare.
You get
It
bragging
is
rights,
March.
that's fine. Although you've done
And
it
he's
before.
got
This
hair.
is my first time doing it fast.
Really? Did I really do
Long
that?
hair.
Did I really do that? That was like the daddest joke I'm
It
going
was
to tell all night.
150.
All right, like so, chat, you were leaving us high and dry in the midst of all this little betting action that you're going on. And Rena telling us once again how much she loves laughs, loves to kiss them on the face.
So I was telling him that
We would like to hear from you. What is the most irritating thing that a person can do at the table? And what is the most irritating thing that a person can say at the table? We want to dig into your deep-seated bitterness.
It's time to get the pet peeves off your chest.
Yes, it is. This is a free psychological session on our part. So it is worth every penny you're paying for it.
Now is the time. When I'm walking to my table with chips in my hand, prefer not to. But now is the time to share.
Fives are ahead, but Chris is open-ended.
Yeah,
And KC is not going to bet. KC folds it, actually.
semi-bluff is
Bertram
gonna
is like,
work
I
here.
can't get there either. I need a 10, so
But
adios.
it's like way easier than you think it is. Not eating.
Singing and humming out loud.
Oh, that's
okay,
yeah,
so
that's a good one.
I'm going to caveat this. I have a lovely singing voice. I happen to know that you are very musical.
I play piano,
But
I don't sing.
We
If I
haven't-
brought a keyboard at the table, that would have to be another level of annoyance.
Yes, yeah, it'd be a little bit like being in at a piano bar. Overly loud people, I agree with you. There are times that I wished I had headsets.
Not a technicality.
Burping. Now, babies burp, adults belch.
Blake, I
But
told him, I was like,
I
I
sat
call a
next
lot
to
of
a player
burps.
last night that
That was
was,
gonna even
he
let me
sounded
off
like a
on it.
1970s percolating coffee pot.
I made it 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, I can't believe I hadn't thought
just
about
kept
this
telling
one.
him every day, I'm like, I'm dying.
Recently,
No,
I
it was
was
like-
playing with a guy,
I think the
and
hardest part
he
was,
was
like,
picking his
finding the
teeth with
electrolyte
his
balance.
pinky finger, like kind of inside.
A little bit of Austin
But
Powers.
furthermore, yeah. So
Dr.
for
Evil.
those, obviously, everyone who can't see, he wasn't. It wasn't like on the outside. It was like kind of in his mouth. And
Oh,
I'm
well, he
just
was
thinking,
going all the way
How
through the
gross is
tonsils,
that?
though.
We're all
Yeah.
handling the same cards and chips, and not only for the rest of us, but for himself. You know,
Yeah.
I don't stick my hands
He's
in my
just
mouth
building up his
after
immune system, I guess. You know?
after poker.
I like all three of those. If they sing out loud or hum out loud, out of tune, yeah, I'll tell them to shut up. I'm very quick to say. So you missed pretty much every note in that Duran Duran song. So can you just stop? Because I'm starting to twitch. If they're overly loud
So like, what was very
and
interesting
drunk,
for me,
it's like twice
Yes,
as irritating.
that's torture.
Because then if I'm sitting next to them and I'm getting the wash, and they may be doing all three, singing, burping, and talking loud. Yeah. Eating anything with your hands. Yeah. Yeah, the shoveling in. I was actually just doing that to Kyle, so he's having to endure that. I promise not to burp. As I
Yeah,
put,
eating
pita
with
in
your
my-
hands, there's no such food that you can
No.
not get some kind of grease or crumbs or what have you.
Pizza's okay, but yeah, you're going to get something on the cards.
Well, and I guess the other key, like I play almost exclusively using my left hand. I really don't need my, so I could eat with
Still talking about
my
poker.
other hand. Still talking about poker. and so I could kind of pull that off and then go wash the hand that I used to eat, I guess. But if you play with both hands, then
Yes.
probably not a good idea to have finger food.
No.
Lottie's gonna wake up with the ace jack on the button.
Yeah, back to poker. Now that we've,
Barber's got-
I'm irritated by this whole conversation. It got me going.
Barber's got the tanks. I think that's our first pair of tens tonight.
Yeah.
Optimized suited connectors. So
Yeah,
pretty
MJ with
interesting
you.
holdings. Very
Messy burgers. No.
top set in the window
Garangi.
for Barber. And
Wow.
we've actually got a gut shot a queen would give Lottie Broadway. Although
total was ahead.
Not sure how
Not top
apt
set, yeah, middle set. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was like, somebody had keys? Okay.
quick folds from everybody. Oh,
Now,
that's
a little disappointing.
speaking of somewhat tilting when you,
Yeah, when you
win a
don't.
pot, flopping a set and getting no action is pretty rough, especially on that board because a lot of his opponent's holdings could have connected.
It all depended on what I do. So he's betting
Well, you know, so
is it if you get to that
we
point
have a
at
lot of
all before
semi-vegetarian
June 1st, you gotta
salad
there was
eaters,
some controversy.
which,
like, it's
so
not
I'll say
really
this.
controversy.
You're thinking to yourself,
Originally,
I'm a salad eater, I'm using a fork, that's great.
Gave me one early
But
hand if I chose
there
to.
is something about salad
So I
with
can hit
dressing
it
on it,
before.
and they end up with, we used to call it Mr. Mouse Magma,
I mean, I feel like
where they
Bones is
end
like,
up the
look,
stuff in the
he lost
corner of their
45
mouth,
Oh.
like the ranch dressing,
Oh, yeah.
and I literally have to not look at them anymore.
Who is it, Carrie?
Regardless. I
Yeah,
don't wanna see
salad's
that.
not the best. You know, it's a pretty common one, too. I don't know if it's the proximity to the restaurants or what have you,
Yeah.
but it seems that
Yeah.
folks having Asian food like chicken and rice, that works
Pad
well
Thai.
for poker. You eat it
Yeah.
with a fork.
Pad Thai is greatest poker
Pad
food
Thai,
there is.
yeah.
Eat right out of the trough with a fork.
That might be built
Rick Waters weighed in. Bad losers with the worst. Throwing cards, yelling at dealers. We 100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost pulled the head off of one the other day.
Larry Wayout says Lottie's never drawing to an inside straight.
That-
Also agree and proven in real life.
Yes, it is. Yes, he's never drawing.
And
to the inside.
you could include me in that group of not drawing to inside straights.
Sean D.
Unless it's maybe, it has to be the right spot. Like if it's multi-way and I'm going to make the nuts, then I might give it one shot to win a huge
Well,
pot.
that's where
'cause
I'm
you're
looking at
implied
pot
odds.
size. Yeah. If somebody bets light into a good sized pot, I might do it.
Yeah,
Especially if that inside straight includes one over.
yeah.
You know, like I've got ace 10, and I need the 9 to get the straight because there's jack 3 out there or something, you know, and 8 or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty specific for me. Slow players.
Great point.
What do
I
you
guess that's
mean,
such a given.
slow?
Maybe we didn't say it yet, but that maybe should be the first thing on the list.
You know, it's almost like what's your favorite hand, and people say aces. Well, of course. But yes, the most irritating thing, we have a player here who I love
He had to
dearly,
put on weight.
but he is
Is whoever loses the
he
highest
is
percentage
what do you call it?
and 2
He is all break and no accelerator.
start date.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
and-
Swedish Daniel already had lost 60 pounds when they started.
Oh,
so he's
and
at a
it-
disadvantage.
the other side of that is being a fast player. I like, you know what I like? You know what the favorite player to me is? Because I don't mind somebody taking some time. Like, I don't like calling the clock, especially if it's a big call. I like somebody who's decisive.
Yes.
Now, sometimes on my betting, if I'm initiating the betting, I'm going to take time because I think quick bets sometimes are.
It could be a tell.
It can be a tell. And sometimes I'm going to be deceptive with speed. But I like a decisive player. Don't sit there, you know, and look at your cards and look at the board and look at how many players and look at stack sizes. I already know going into the hand what your stack size is generally, and I already know what my position is. This is the Phil Ivey. You don't know how many people are in the hand comment. It's like, now it's when you're in the 1 and 9, I get it a little better, but yeah,
I also, and I know this is there's very mixed opinions on this, but as soon as my cards are dealt, I look at them.
yeah.
I know there's a school of thought to wait until it's your turn, then look at your cards because then the action has happened ahead. But I see it as I've gained more time to think about my hand, and I'm evaluating the action ahead of me. And if I've already looked at them, I've got all the time in the world to see everyone else act ahead of me, how quickly, how decisive they are.
Exactly.
And so the slow player that waits till the moment it's their turn to finally look at their cards, and then the other one that came to mind just a moment ago is the person that they're clearly folding and they're having a really long card funeral where they hold their cards and they kind of tap them on the table, and everybody and their dog knows that they're folding, but they take that extra like 10, 15, 20 seconds in the sun so you can see they're making a tough fold. I'm like, please just throw the cards into the muck. And, you know, there's also the other factor, and please come play with us at TCH. It's a great value. You pay hourly. There's no rate, but you are paying hourly. So for all the time that a particularly slow player takes, it's actually a little bit of money out of your pocket.
Well, so Leaf. So my thing is, I like a decisive player. I also like a little bit of the opposite of that, which is a deliberate player. So somebody like if you watch Kevin White, I think he's the best example of somebody who takes almost the exact same amount of time for every piece of action.
Yes, he does.
Now, if it's a big hand, obviously that can change. But he takes the exact same amount of time. That way you never get a read on his action speed or his call speed or his, whatever. He doesn't tank unless it's a huge hand. Matter of fact, he's the fastest thing he does is fold when he knows you got it. And it makes me a little crazy because I'm like, dang it, Kevin, why can't you just call me once when I crush it?
Yeah.
But he'll snap fold because he's like, it's like it makes you feel like he's got a read on your soul. So,
yeah, I mean, there's it's certainly okay if you're trying to disguise, the strength of your hand or, to take a few extra seconds to be consistent in the amount of time that you act. But without any doubt, if you know you're folding, go ahead and fold.
This may be me, my age, and being a little old school. When I see somebody do what you talked about, where they don't look at their cards till it's to them, you know what I think? They watch too much TV poker.
I totally agree. Yes, they heard somebody
we're
say
at a
that's
1-2
what
table,
the
and
pros
it's a
do.
$12 pot. I'm pretty sure you could have looked at this ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll see them look around the table. Okay, I'm +2, under the gun, and so is in it. I'm like, come on. Yeah, that's where being a very alert player. You get be an alert player, be a decisive player, be a deliberate player. You will have an advantage on 90% of your opponents.
Totally agree. Jeff in the chat.
And
Jeff
if you're
with the
watching
G
a
says,
video on your phone, how alert and how deliberate and how decisive can you be?
Right, and the hands you're not in give you a lot of information.
Yeah,
We do have a set of deuces here for Just James on the top. Appears to be the best hand at the moment. Let's see what we got on the bottom.
Looks like we got Jack 10 is open-ended for Lottie.
And a flush draw. Not a great one, 10
Not
high,
a great
but
one, no. Looks like the flush draws are not that great. I don't see any big spades.
Lottie actually has a gutter to a straight flush, 8 of clubs.
Oh, yeah. KC is, no, he's not going to be able to stick around. Yes, is not going to be able to stick around. Well, yeah, he's got King 9, top 2.
Doesn't look like the 8 of clubs is folded.
Well,
so.
other than the set of 2s, and that's nothing to brag right home about.
Yeah, bottom set scary in a bomb pot, and board pairs the
2s
5, so
filled
he
up
just
with 5s, but you don't feel good about it.
Nobody with the 5, so deuces full is going to be good.
And no 8s out there. Looks like somebody's going to back into the bottom. Looks like King 9 for yes is going to back into the bottom.
I got Jackson 7. So he's got
Now, yes, you better turn your card. I was just about to say, make sure on your bomb pots. That you
Oh,
turn
Lottie
all 4
points
cards.
out that the 8 of clubs came on the wrong board. That was his straight flush card.
Oh,
if it comes on
yeah.
the top board.
Yeah.
We would have chopped, but
It's funny.
Yeah, Lottie doesn't miss
the other
anything.
way around. What did you have on the bottom if it's the other way around?
You ever hear of memory palace?
I had a pair of 9s. I had a straight flush and a pair of 9s that they just come the other way.
Yeah, I agree with you, Leaf.
Problems.
I feel like I'm good at reading players,
No, he's trying to remember.
but it's generally. Now, let's put it this way. How do I put it? The better players, I've given up reading. Yeah, very quickly, the really good players I play a lot with, they're not getting anything from me, and I'm not going to get anything from them. Usually, the lesser experienced is how I'll put it, capable 1-2 players, yeah, you can read. $14 for the last 16 sessions. I hope that means that you won 14 of the last 16. MJ, I hope. I have been 14 for 16 in the bad way. Feels like a baseball slump. Like no matter where you hit it, there's somebody standing there with a glove. All right, so we're on hand. What are we at? 50 what? 51? Sorry, the view changed. Or I tell you the hand number, and this all Broadway flop with more Broadway flop. And there is a jack for Optimize, but any 10 ace beats him. And let's see, James is going to kick out here with the top pair, top kicker. Optimize is going to call. Kevin's going to have to give up this hand. As we go to the turn for a $200 pot. Again, no 10 is there, but it's going to make this crowd a little bit nervous with their holdings. Jack 9, oh, I'm sorry, boat. Yeah, he's not nervous about much. Kevin's trying to figure out, how do I get this pot larger? And it's going to be hard to do, frankly. Anything more than a $75 to $100 bet is going to get folded. See if he goes a little bluffy. Yeah, he's going for the full pot. Oh, thank you, MJ. I appreciate it. You know, I just, Kyle's out of the room right now, as we say in East Texas, seeing a man about a horse. But I love all of our stream guys that we work with, and Kyle and I have a really nice, relaxing conversation every time. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I look forward to my Monday nights. Parks in PA, Parks in Pennsylvania. Like I said earlier, I love the stream night because I've yet to get stacked while commentating. Getting a little tanky here. He's thinking about it, but I think that was a very polarizing bet size, which is why it's a great bet by Optimize. Top does fold. Just James makes a good fold. Give him credit.
There's your $100. Suck out. Suck out on
Look, you could have said that if you called.
A naked jack is good enough, so hitting the 9 probably was inconsequential to this hand.
No, you still owe me 100.
Wow.
Oh, Parks in PA, so a couple miles away.
Next
Not sure
time.
what that means. You'll have to express yourself there, MJ. You're a Torontonian? Is that really what you say, Torontonian?
So I'm doing this with you, you know. And now here he is, won this 100 so bad.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm an Arlingtonian, Texas, so that makes sense.
You probably lost more than 100 playing poker just from your mind, you know.
Canadian, one of my good friends that I haven't seen in a while. He's from Canada. The weather's getting nicer up there, so I think he went home. Graham, if you know Graham from Canada. Very Torontonian, very, very Torontonian. Got that great Toronto accent. Optimize is the ace-king master, and he nails it. Seneca Casino. They closed the poker room last year. Did they really? I actually have a cousin, Brad, who lives in Detroit and goes across to Toronto where he works at the casino. I can honestly tell you I don't remember which one it is. Haven't seen him in years. As Optimize once again leverages his ace-king. King-jack now is going to draw to the one-legged straight Broadway. Yeah, Kyle just came back in the room and he's like, how the heck does Optimize have ace-king once again? We call ourselves Torontonians. Well, I'm going to call you that from now on anyway. So I have nothing better. Torontogander, Torontonite. That Trontonite actually sounds kind of cool. 2 clubs also. There's no part of this that Optimize doesn't like. He's going to tank a little bit and then make the call. Big hand brewing with Yes having very little of it. Unfortunately, he stumbled into a monster, and only a 10 is going to save him. And that ain't it. So the clubs don't get there. There's no straights out there. Not much for Optimize to be fearful of other than a set. Could be a set of 5s, could be a set of 9s. He blocks the aces, obviously.
Very similar situation
Yeah,
to when
very-
Optimize stacked yes early
Yes,
on.
I know. He's got to be thinking, am I really this lucky twice? Oh, Windsor Casino? Okay, there you go. Well, my buddy Brad is in charge of their sports services. So.
1,500 from yes. Wow.
Well, he's like, you dog. I love Optimize in this case.
Yeah.
I just
When
love his attitude.
When
He's
he gets
like-
in these tough spots, wow.
He said,
Oh, he
here
does it.
I am again. Unlike our player from a couple of years ago, there's not going to be any deceptive practices on Optimize's part. He's gonna take his ace king and he's gonna think about this.
I'm sure he's thinking I already called him with just one pair and a huge pot early on. He does it again. Oh my gosh. What I can't say in all the streams that I've done that I've seen 2 hands so
Identical.
similar between 2
Identical.
players as this. It's really incredible. 5K pot of the night so far for Optimize.
All right, folks, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I may run out there and rub Optimize's head.
You can't take a break, Uncle T. Only I get those.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
At my age, you just expect me to like let the Depends do the action?
Yeah. I thought you were sponsored.
When is TCH bringing back the bad beat jackpot? I have asked that question, River Rat, 12 times in the last month. All right, I'm not going to comment, Jeff. I don't disagree with you, but I kind of like the play because it's going to put we're looking at it as Optimize. Can he make this call twice? The great thing about Optimize is he separates those hands completely in his mind. So, all right, I'll be back in a moment, Kyle.
All righty. Looks like we have a lot of you for a Monday night. Thanks everyone for joining. Feel free to hop into the chat. We'll interact as much as we can. Looks like we have a misread on Bertram. Sometimes happens with the radio frequency that's in the cards read by the table, so most likely has either ace queen or ace jack. He's been playing pretty snug, so everyone's going to fold to his raise there. Does still win a nice pot. Sure, Uncle T let everyone know, but Jesse now in the box dealing the cards. One of the many experienced dealers here at TCH. So Yes is going to raise his pair of sevens. Barber's got the ace queen. It's going to come along for a call. Set now, it's Yes's turn. Unfortunately for him, this is a Complete brick of a flop for Barber. This would be a good time to check back and try to let your opponent catch up. Probably doesn't love the diamond draw. He's going to bet, and I just don't see Barber continuing. He does. Ace or queen would be devastating. That actually is an interesting card. It brings in the backdoor flush for Barber. He has the nut flush draw. Over 400 in the pot now. See what Barber decides to do. Does have 8 outs. Really cannot fold with the nut flush draw, so yes makes it 225. He's going to get a call and need to fade a diamond, and does. Actually, yes now fills up. Barber with air, so unfortunately for yes, he's got all the value he's going to get out of this hand. He'll probably contemplate how much to bet. He might just go all in, given SPR for Barber is around 1-1, just a little bit more behind than the pot. Barber is going to jam. Oh, he doesn't jam. He makes a huge bet, and this is terrible news for Barber. Yes is going to come over the top, and Barber can't even call with ace high and getting huge pot odds. Unfortunate spot there for Barber. He went for it and pays off yes in a big way. Almost 3,000. Yes, kind of deserves that. He attempted some bluffs that did not go as planned and now gets paid off with his set. Not really a good run out for Barber to attempt that bluff there. The 5 really changes nothing. Wasn't representing, could have been representing a turned flush, but really wasn't the best bluffing opportunity. As Uncle T rejoins us, we just had
He's back.
Yes River a boat after a flop set and got paid off by Barber with a river attempted bluff.
Ah,
Optimizes turns with the 7s.
big hand?
Big hand, about 3,000.
Wow.
Went Yes's way, so he gets back some of his failed bluff from Optimize.
And who's the hand with?
Barber.
Barber.
Barber tried to open it up on the river and represent a big hand, but
Well, if you get bluffed, if you get your bluff called a couple times, I guess you're going to call a bluff. I never do that bluffing, Leaf, and you never lie either, right? Oh.
some Broadway cards for Casey and Bertram here. Optimize. See if we can get a set of 7s 2 hands in a row. And we do. Wow. Set on a very connected board, for Optimize, but top set.
Yeah, and he's going to check it and see where he's at.
Yeah, has to kind of give his opponent some rope with hands like they have, a chance to catch up.
Casey takes the aggression lead. Bertram's going to have to fold again. Bertram, I feel for you, brother.
Sometimes it's just that kind of night.
It is.
Optimize smooth. Ooh, he doesn't smooth call. He raises, and this is probably going to shut things down.
You're scared to bluff? You know, I agree with you. There's nothing that gets the heart rate up for me. I wear my iWatch, whatever, and kind of track it. Does get me up in the, takes it down. So. Sorry about the numbers. We're having a little trouble with our aggression frequency and some of our numbers.
And back-to-back sets for sevens. Haven't seen that very often.
Just checked out our Monday night tournament. We got our Monday night at TCH Austin is our add-on tournament. Free roll with add-ons. It's nice how you can come in at break even late in the game like it is right now. I guess they're probably past the break, but you can come in and spend 40 to get 50K. And that's a fun tournament.
Really fun tournament.
I like that one a lot. It's the only bad thing about us doing this live stream is I miss that tournament.
I agree, yeah. If I'm not doing the live stream, I'm in that tournament.
Yeah, when Lottie and I had the technical issues last week, I was not heartbroken that I could go out and join the tournament. I didn't join it very long, I will say.
Is that what you said?
Also important to point out, we have several weekly tournaments with very affordable buy-ins. So some of our promos may have, you know, $300, $250.
We mentioned the Friday night PLO. We also have the Saturday for $120. We're going to redo the PLO Friday night. It's going to go back to the lower buy-in. So come out and play PLO. It is no longer $150 on Friday night. It's going to be back to, I think, 20 or 60.
Okay.
Essentially a free roll PLO, which always makes for a big crowd. Not the best PLO, but that's all right. We won our. I used to tell people all the time when it was structured that way that the Friday night is the time to practice your bomb pots. You get a lot of PLO hands in, so it improves your PLO or your bomb pot game to play a lot of PLO hands. You know, of course, playing 1-2, 1-3, whatever, you don't get a lot of PLO hands in.
Yeah, the first PLO I ever played live was in that tournament, actually.
Nice.
Great way to start.
Yep. And PLO being such a non-bluffy kind of game with a lot of variance, it's good to put in a lot of hands. Find out what's good and what is not.
Leaf says, wow, you have a lot of small games. We
actually
do. So you say ebb, but there's a wide spectrum of buy-ins people are comfortable with. So if you don't have a huge bankroll or just prefer not to invest that much money into your poker, time, you can come play a tournament.
I don't play a lot of the bigger tournaments, although I'd like to, because I simply don't have that kind of time commitment. And there are not a lot of these tournaments that go past 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're good for a work day week. Now, when we move into our new building, 1 mile, or well, less than that, half a mile to the west, we're going to have a different tournament schedule. I talked to Victor, our general manager, and we're going to have a much more extensive tournament schedule and a tournament director at the new building. And number 62. Jesse's running through them. Jesse's one of our better dealers, too. Also floor. Very, very knowledgeable. Just don't play mixed games with him, like I said. James got the jacks.
Jiggities for just James. No right way to play him.
No. And a lot of wrong ways. Harbor comes in with the ace-7 hearts.
Barbara, do you have any other chips behind? I'm assuming not.
Once again, not a huge amount of multiplayer pots.
Everybody, just James, hates the connected board, I'm sure. Ace-5 is a popular hand to play these days. Would have flopped the wheel. Nobody, of course,
clubs. Yeah. But he doesn't overbet it. He wants to keep the hooks in.
Three on the turn might start to convince Barber that his ace-high is good, but drawing very thin here. Just James is going to bet and take it.
Mel handed this note on that hand, which I found confusing, so I threw it back at her. Thank you, our wonderful producer, Mel, who just got back from her cruise. A very eventful cruise. Very, very eventful cruise. May or may not have caught a cruiser out in the hallway in a compromising position, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Kevin's turn with ace-king. He's been a little quiet and a little card dead.
yeah, everybody, give us a like. We got 178 people on the stream right now chatting, and hit your like button. See if we can get to 150 likes.
Optimize is going to 3-bet Kevin with Jack 8 from the button. It looks like that was the hand maybe Mel had shared a
It was
note
63.
for. So, yeah,
Thanks,
so
Mel.
the note here is that Kevin did not fold to optimize. Kevin came back over the top for 200, and there was a fold from optimize, which certainly makes sense based on the holdings.
Well, you know what we love the most about Mel?
There's so many things I can't think of.
Mainly
one.
that she has good intentions.
You know, you're just trying to play with pots with one person at the table.
Execution, not so much.
Leaf has already pressed the like button. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, y'all that haven't.
Lottie's going to raise up a real hand here with ace queen suited.
We want you to like us. That was
From
good.
the MP2 spot.
Mel just hit me with a flying object. All right. You know, that's what I love about Mel. Our professionalism is always there.
I think I heard Doug in one
Ace,
of
queen,
his
ace,
say,
queen,
like,
queen,
I'm basically
jack.
a solver now, is what he said.
Jack
He
10.
said that at the table. In like a high stakes game.
Yeah, don't grow up.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's no queen on this flop.
Yeah, I think that's, if it is, then it will be the caser. Double diamonds on the
King 5
flop.
deuce, Barber and Lottie with flush draws, and Barber with a very short stack.
He is open-ended.
He
so
does
an
also
ace
have
or a
the,
six. He's got the combo draw. He doesn't want to see the ace or six be a diamond, but the ace of diamonds is already gone. Lottie's got it, so that's not going to happen.
Kevin also flops top pair with his king 10.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of activity in this hand. Bertram, once again, has a great premium hand that he has to fold. I'm going to go out and hug him afterwards.
Yeah, Barber's going to stick it in. Saw that one coming from a mile. Doesn't know that his diamonds are dead.
Yeah, we lost our audio a brief second there. I thought I was having a neurological
We're having a
event.
little
Yeah.
glitch here, folks. We're getting, here we go.
Yeah, we're broadcasting, but
Wow, Kevin pretty easily just folds his top pair. And
If you want to go choice, we can go choice if you want. I don't care.
Lottie called the all-in.
I swear Kevin
$650
sometimes
pot.
has a sixth sense. It's always amazing to me watching these streams sometimes.
I need help.
I need help too.
And
So
we're
we're
showing
gonna
two
go
boards, but
twice.
there's just one. Oh, okay, yeah, we're running it twice. Diamonds never show.
In the stack?
Ace queen is
Does he have
good.
a freaking pair of fours? We're gonna chop because
Pair of
They
fours takes
chop
one.
the pair of fours, save Barber on the first board.
Wow. Well, that was entertaining if somewhat fruitless. Kevin's like, what the frick? I took both of those boards with the king.
The other night.
I mean, fucking Lottie's behind.
Right. Well,
That's
everybody
true.
loves
Actually,
the
two
chop
pair for
except for
Kevin
Kevin
on
on
the
the second
he's
board.
like, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
that's
have
true.
kings. I mean, no, I figured if I call you might fold, you know, but yeah.
Not the front.
Yeah, you're actually not folding. No, not that time. You might fucking jam it on top. Yeah, the worst hands ever created, ace queen.
Onto a double board bomb pot.
Lottie weighs in that ace queen is the worst hand ever created.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He
I feel like we
hates
get
these
one quote of that each stream.
We love our New York net.
There's usually a good competition amongst players between which hand they like the least, jacks or ace queen. I'm leaning much further toward jacks these days.
Really?
I would
say
think
ace queen every time.
See, I think I prefer.
By the way, Robert,
So there's a
Ace
certain
queen.
discussion about card removal that can be had with ace queen that can't be had with jacks. So if you're in a hand that the chances of somebody else having an ace or a queen, you get to a certain point in the pot, is much greater than when you have a pair of any kind. So, you know,
Right.
I always have those card removal thoughts in my head, probably too much, as we play our next bomb pot with diamonds being the dominant suit on both boards. I always have those thoughts about ace queen.
I feel like possibly this is a leak in my own game, but I'm less likely to lose a huge pot with ace queen and more likely with jacks.
You get stickier, you think, with jacks?
He's like, yeah,
You just have a tendency to be stickier?
I think stickier, or you get a lot of money in, and you're always assuming you don't flop a set or a monster.
Right.
Somebody's almost always going to have overcards.
Yeah.
So
never
I feel like
safe.
you can just get more tough spots on the turn or river where your jacks were good, and now an ace or a king or queen come out, and
Yeah, I get that. I always tell people that 10s are crappy jacks and jacks are crappy.
that's a good point.
I mean, it's kind of I don't like jacks either. So
yeah.
The percentages, if you do the percentages for how often an overcard hits that board, jacks are no better than 10s or 9s, really, just marginally. So I get it.
It's too bad there's no way to look back. I record my sessions, of course, but obviously not each hand. I would love to know my lifetime profit loss with jacks versus ace queen.
I'd say you probably
be
don't.
interesting.
You probably don't want to know.
Probably don't, yeah. Probably not.
Norman Chad made it famous that to talk about ace queen being the worst hand in poker. And a lot of he's propagating it. We're certainly not dispelling it. I always say that there are calculations for those numbers, but you also need to not be mindful of those numbers to some degree. For instance, my favorite saying when you have kings is that there's like a 14-16% chance that there's an ace on any board, unless you have kings and it's 90%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always the joke that I
Does feel
make,
that way.
but it feels that way sometimes.
Sure does. Yep.
You get the kings, you make a nice bet, you get 2 callers, you're like, yeah, I'm building my pot, ace in the window. And you're just like, yeah, well, I won't say what I say, but it starts with fudge and ends in me.
He's like, I'm calling, yeah, but hold on, I gotta dance.
Chris with the 10 jack here. Play it from middle position +2.
I want him to think he has a chance the third time.
Yeah, exactly. I want to keep this guy thinking he can get one through eventually.
It's a nice little profit center.
Still talking about Optimize calling yes twice. The table is enjoying that.
It was amazing. It was deja vu.
All over again.
Kevin going to 3-bet the ace jack and take down the pot.
Get the salad out of my teeth. Well, we're not touching cards, so it's cool.
It's like, I'm just gonna
And you get fist pounds, not handshakes.
Yes, yeah. I always, I did that before COVID. And, people would give me the elbow during COVID, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do the elbow. The back of the hand is fine.
I agree.
The knuckle pump is fine. I do prefer it to a handshake because I work with a lot of doctors and surgeons, and they are very, very protective of their hands. So we were doing that beforehand.
Oh, that makes sense.
I have 2 neurosurgeons and a couple of vascular surgeons that are friends of mine, and they do not shake hands. Their hands are literally saving people's lives. So, and like I have a close friend that's a neurosurgeon, a pediatric neurosurgeon.
Wow.
Softest hands I've ever seen, and very buff. He lifts weights, and I'm like, I'm going to come watch you lift weights sometimes because I cannot figure this out.
Must wear great gloves.
I think it's honestly he's attaching things to his arms to give him a workout, like using the wristbands and some other things. But yeah, shout out to Dr. Mark Lee out there. Fantastic surgeon. Now I believe at Mayo or Emory.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's at the top of his game.
He is. He always was. He does surgery interventions for epileptic children. Fantastic guy.
Looks like, unfortunately for Optimize, while he was away from the table, he was still king queen suited.
He's had enough good hands for one
It's been
night.
the night of sets of sevens.
He's
Let's
getting them
see
even when he's not here.
see if it's just
Oh,
James's
yeah, we
turn,
have
but
seen him.
only 1-7 left in the
I
deck
didn't
here.
know if people would get that show.
I'm like pretty sure he's gonna pay me, but I don't know. Sometimes he
Flush
takes a while
draw.
to get back.
Yeah.
For the king 7 of diamonds. KC's going to go ahead and bet his draw.
Probably going to get a call. This is not too scary of a board for sevens.
Yeah, I've noticed most of these players, if they have just one overcard to a middling pair, they tend to come along to a C-bet. And
That actually makes Just James feel a lot better. Pairs love pairs. And Kevin's repping an overpair here to the 8, or maybe an 8, which would be alarming. Ace 8, 8, 9.
just makes the call. I thought he might consider a raise there.
Yeah, see where he was at.
Oh, and it's the night of
Case
sevens.
7. Oh, my gosh.
Boats up on the river. This is the second full house sevens full.
Kevin's
that we have
happy. KC is happy about this. He's going to come in for 225, 250.
K7. How very unfortunate for
Oh.
KC.
Now, Just James is thinking about his bet sizing. So what is your bet sizing here to get a call? Of course, it depends on what you think you've targeted.
Probably just you're dying for a call. Maybe you're targeting trip deuces somehow, but it's not the most likely
that's
holding
not
for
real
KC.
likely, no.
I think 750. Just go 3x it.
Really?
What about yourself?
I'm thinking a min raise is the most suspect thing in the world. I think I would actually go bigger to make it look a little bluffy. Unfortunately, knowing Kevin Creekmore the way I do, KC, he's less likely to call because he's a very, very efficient and fairly tight player. But I'd guess that Just James trying to take advantage of his aggressive image is going to go large. Now, he hasn't got a huge amount behind, but if you go, oh, yeah, I think you've actually got the range. He did jam.
Yeah,
So he's trying to make it look as bluffy
It's a little
as possible.
greedy.
Well, I think he's making it look
make
really
it look
bluffy.
but
If he's targeting ace 8, shoot.
the only reason I wouldn't go so big is there's just not that many hands to be targeting. It's trip deuces.
Over pairs.
Yeah, somehow
Kings,
maybe
jacks.
he has 9s or 10s.
Yeah.
But could be thinking about a hero. Probably thinking about did he get there with the 7 and Just James has a missed flush draw also.
Yeah. Well, the way the action ran out, where Kevin was the aggressor and just getting flatted, this looks like it looks very bluffy.
He calls.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't blame him.
Just James
I don't
gets
blame
the
him.
max.
Wow.
Nicely played
you
by
see
Just
what
James.
you see what I'm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a little bit of Just James being aware of his table image.
Yeah.
As one of the 2 most aggressive players at the table.
Yeah, made it look like a missed flush draw.
Yep.
And
I don't honestly think
Got
he's
the
going
max.
to get as often a call with a $750,
$750
$1,000
it
bet.
just looks a little too milky.
Yeah. Very interesting. Probably our most analytically interesting hand of the night. You know, obviously calling some good calls by Optimize were interesting, but
Yeah, I'd say those 3 actually.
yeah, I agree. Well, tell us what you think of that hand. That was a hand and a half.
Yeah, rough spot there for KC.
Yeah, very, very rough.
Has been the night of the trip 7s.
I mean, he's probably thinking to himself, a 7 or 8 is effectively the same. Kevin Creekmore is KC is thinking that. You know, so you know, yeah, I empathize for him. I would be more likely to call that bet than a $750 bet.
The full jam.
Yeah, the full jam. Again, in a 1-2 game, a full jam gets more folds. In this game, it's a different set of thought
Yeah.
process.
Let's, as you said, bluff here.
All right, folks, we are about 3 hours into it. We thank all 171 of you, and knowing that we'll have a lot more views later on. It's Monday night at TCH Austin for our 2-5 live stream. I'm here with my bestest buddy, Kyle the Disc Frisbee.
Kyle the disc. Hey, you know, some people call chips discs. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe I could make a
exactly.
connection there.
One betting disc is what my friend Rob always says. I bet 3 betting discs.
I'll have to come up with a some kind of poker name to go with that.
I've been working on you to come up with a poker name.
Well, I go by Whammo because that was the
I like that
company that
but
started
it's a
the
little
Frisbee.
obscure
My last name
unless
is
you're
Frisbee.
really, you know, like kind of into the 70s toys, the Slinky and the Whammo and the Wheelo. And, yeah.
I think most people don't make the connection, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we need, and it's not sexy. And you're too sexy of a man not to have a sexy name.
We got 2 pair here for
And
Lottie.
single girls.
Yeah, if KW Frisbee on Instagram.
Oh, just fans? I'm going to act like I don't know what that means. So, yeah. I actually had a new one thrown at me the other day. One of the players at the table said, Uncle T throwing you some serious Riz. And I was like,
Oh,
yes. And I'm like of an age where I was like, Riz? I had no idea. So I had to ask.
I learned what Riz was about a month ago.
Oh, really? That makes
Yeah.
me feel better.
Yeah, it's I think it's more of a sub 20-year-old thing.
Yes. I asked a 29-year-old, and he said, I just learned about it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so yeah.
But he said it's like respect.
Actually, shortly after I learned it, I was with my family and my niece and nephew. My nephew is.
Taco Bell.
Oh, sorry, Landry. We got more 7s. is it Lottie's turn for a set of 7s?
Yeah, I guess.
1 7 is in the muck, but he was wearing a hat that I liked, and I said, Landry, that hat has a lot of Riz. And he looked at me like I was an alien.
How old is he?
He's 13 or 14.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's like, where did my
yeah,
uncle learn
and I
this?
said, did I use it right? And he said, yeah, that's actually concerning.
In other words, he'll never use it again.
Yeah, I think I
He's
made
gonna
it
tell all
uncool
his
for him.
friends. Spade draw. I see the spade draw there for ace-3.
And
7s haven't connected yet, but they're invariably going to hit.
Just James combo draw needs a 5 or spade.
Small pot. Lottie's going to call. It's like, you know, I'm ahead a lot here.
And actually is ahead.
He is ahead. He's got 55% of the equity.
Has to fade a ton here.
Now he's up to 67%, but he gets there. And Lottie's one of those that taught me that pairs like pairs, so he likes those 4s. He's never putting just James on a pair. His showdown values on a pair. So.
Nice hand for Lottie.
Show him the 7s.
Boy, the 7s are undefeated
They
tonight.
are. They are. They're, what are they, 5
I just
and
have
0?
to go value menu. I feel like.
Even without the
And
set?
all the biggest, or almost all the biggest pots.
Not that one. That was not too much. All right, we're on hand number 71.
Yeah.
Thank all 180 of you that are on our current chat. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
A couple
it's
quick
just
reminders while
$5.
Jesse gets things shuffled up and dealt. Our Houston location, April 10th through 22nd. Over $1 million in guarantees. Go to TexasCardHouse.com to check out all the details. Find a tournament that fits your bankroll and schedule. And also, we have the even bigger one up in Dallas. I'll be in Dallas playing at TCH tomorrow, actually. Play some cash games. While in town, we've got a $250,000 guarantee, 8 different flights. Find a flight that's good for you. Huge value. Plenty of time, plenty of play, 30-minute levels, 30K starting stack. Yes is going to have the ace-jack here. Bertram with the suited ace. One of the better hands, unfortunately for him, he's seen in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Of course,
Everybody
the board
whiffs
is,
on
yeah,
it.
complete whiff.
5, 6, 8, 2-diamond flop. Yes is going to go ahead and bet with the best hand, no pair.
Yep, backdoor diamonds. 2 overs to the board.
Gets a call.
Still no joy. No redraw.
Any 7 makes a straight now.
Bertram is a smart player. He knows where he's at this point. He's basically getting beat by everything in the world except for a king high.
So what do you think about Gabe Davis being in Jacksonville now?
Barber in the background looking like he's on a cold yacht
Yeah.
with his sandals, shorts, and hoodie.
You know, other than Mr. Creekmore, Mr. KC, we are all sporting the hoodies tonight. You and I included. Mel,
Yeah,
you got a hoodie on? Are you wearing a hoodie? Okay, yeah. She and Casey are the only ones. Oh, Kate, no, wait a minute. Casey's got one. It's only Lottie. I knew there was
Lottie's
only
got the
one person
t-shirt,
that had a non-hoodie. I guess Bertram's not. That's not a hoodie. Oh, okay. Never mind. Optimized.
Lots of
didn't have it
hoodies,
either.
though.
Lots
Yeah.
of hoodies. I just made a complete liar out of myself.
It took me a while to get on the hoodie train, but hoodies are just so versatile for poker.
They are. Well, the temperatures vary so much in Texas, and it's hard to get them straight inside the building. We always talk about
Yep.
that. Different parts of the building will be cold, other parts will be warm. The guys always joke, the players will always joke about the heat of the lights, which I tell them these are LEDs. Stop
There's
being
no
so
heat.
wimpy. There's no heat. But it is warmer in that corner of the room. So, gosh, that sounds like an old person talking about a temperature. It's hot in here.
I will say I would rather play in a too cool poker room than a
Yes.
too warm.
Yes.
Really don't want to be sweating next to each other.
No. You sweat enough hands without having to actually sweat.
Barber's going to raise up his king-queen and take down the blinds and straddle.
Well, again, we see our stack sizes. We don't know the plus minus for some reason as we play the Bob Lilly hand. But, you know, obviously starting stacks were about 2,000. You can tell who's ahead and who's behind, although there's been some rebuys.
Yeah, I think optimize up about 2,500.
Yeah, maybe more. I mean, he bought
Maybe
it
a little
for
more, yeah.
2,000 originally. Yeah, probably. Yeah, he only got stacked that once, so he may be up 4,500. Wasn't it 2,000 early on?
Yeah, well, I think he would be in for 4K and
Right.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right,
and
you're
up
right.
to
So 2,500. You're right. You know, it tells you what kind of poker play I am. Whatever my stack was to start with, if I leave with it, I consider it a win.
your hourly is
Yes,
just
yes.
through the roof. I
Yes,
assume.
it is. It is awful. I think it's right now. My target is 33 cents an hour.
33. Leave some for the rest of us. See?
Nice. A king and a queen both hit.
Yeah, just James. Gonna bet
No
out.
spades. Chris calls the second pair, as he's wont to do.
And makes 2 pair on the river.
As
Just
he's
brutal.
also wont to do is
Just
hit
James.
that second pair.
Just James just did river a boat with the K7, so
What do you think he'll just bet?
I think he'll just not bet, actually. He checks.
Will he just call a bet? About a $75 bet by just Chris.
Yeah, I think Chris is definitely going to go for some value here.
I'm going to just guess that he goes out for 75 and gets a call. No, he makes it a little bluffier looking
150.
to 3/4 pot. And he does get the call with top pair. Chris has been a little quiet tonight too, so he's probably glad to book a win.
527 going Chris's way.
Chris is funny. I like Chris a lot. And when he wins a hand like that, he always gets this very mischievous grin on his
Little,
face.
yeah,
like,
sheepish, mischievous.
yeah,
type
like you
grin.
just caught him doing something slightly untoward. You know? You know,
Definitely
looking
saw
at
it
bikini
there.
pictures on his phone or something. You know, kind of gets that sheepish look. There's the totals. Yeah, Optimize is up 2.5. You're dead on as always. Kevin's up 1,000. Just James is now back up 1,000. Good recovery from an early tough time. Just like Optimize.
Suited ace for Chris here. Barber suited queen 8 going in the muck.
Lottie folds his favorite hand. 8-5 offsuit.
If it were suited, I would defend it.
Not the worst to take down the blinds and straddle with ace deuce suited.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. As we go on to number 76, the Spirit of 76.
B-Pips KC coming a little down to earth. He started off around 60%.
Yeah,
Skipped a lot of
which
hands
is
early.
never going to last. Kevin, that's as high as his VPIP generally will run. Kevin's actually very low. He's been somewhat card dead like Bergeron. Not a lot of opportunities. He's typically in that 20, 25% range.
Yeah,
He's,
exactly.
hasn't had much to play with tonight.
King 4 suited for yes is good enough to open.
Yeah, King 9.
He's going to get 3-bet by Lottie light here.
Yeah,
and
and his table image is like, that must be queens.
Yep, that works.
Yeah, I told you Lottie bluffed me. I didn't talk to him for 2 weeks. I said, look,
why did you choose
You cannot take advantage of me that way. You know I'm the one guy at the table you can bluff.
Lottie just looked up at the camera like he knows we're talking about him.
He does. He does. He knows what he would say at this point.
Nobody made the call.
Nobody made the call. I got one through. Excuse my crunching. I just realized that's probably coming through that piece of cucumber that I shoved in my gourd.
There's cucumber in that?
Yeah, that is a pita sandwich with cucumber, which I picked all the cucumber out of it.
I hate cucumber.
You hate cucumbers?
I do. I love pickles, but I hate cucumbers.
Okay, see, that's like,
Yeah. Try to make sense of that one. And I'm a very unpicky eater, too. It's
That's
one
like
of the
saying you
very
like
few
horses, but
things.
not miniature horses.
It's a completely different flavor. Dill and vinegar.
We're still talking about pickles or horses?
Oh, yeah. Well, I am going to Asia soon.
Well,
that's the wrong,
the
wrong area
miniature
for
horses.
horses.
Well, I live next door. So I own horses a lot, and the guy next to us on our land in Bernie had a whole group of miniature horses, which were beautiful to watch run by in the morning. They'd go stampeding from one end of the place to the other. Twos are ahead, although we can't figure out how.
Actually, we got the Optimize is good with his jack
Oh,
kicker
that's right.
to
It's
the double paired
counterfeited.
board.
He's going to
That's
be happy.
the
See
unfortunate
if,
part.
Yes can bet
It's
this.
yes
he
and
knows he's
Optimize
counterfeited,
again.
so he's going to bet. Yeah, smart guy.
Wow, quick fold.
And I asked the old man that owned that herd of miniature horses, I said, they're all mean as heck.
Yep.
And like regular horses, which, bond with people pretty well. Those miniatures, they have small
Attitudes,
man syndromes. And especially the mares. And I asked him, why do you like those miniature horses? And he goes, well, it makes my land look bigger. I thought that was bloody brilliant.
That's a
He
great
had 12
answer.
acres that looked like 120 acres with that group of horses. He said, they fly over and say, man, that guy's got a big spread. Look at
Yeah.
that big group of horses down there.
He's got 500 acres, not 5.
TV change.
I thought that was bloody brilliant.
That's great. I've noticed being a native Texan and living in Texas my whole life, it seems like some of those old rancher types like that, they'll have that one good zinger or something like that.
They probably got
that,
a million of them.
Yeah, or a lot of them, yeah.
All my uncles, yeah. Well, you know the saying, just between me and you and the fence post?
What's that?
That's very East Texas. That's where they used to say that all the time. Well, hey, just between me and you and the fence post.
Oh, I've never heard that one.
And basically what they're saying is we're standing on a fence with our elbows on the fence post. In other words, that we're talking and telling gossip.
About to tell you,
and only the fence
yeah.
post is listening. Yeah, there's a million of them that they have like that. Or that guy's all hat, no horse.
I have heard that. I'm
you
familiar
heard
with
that
that
one?
one.
Yeah,
All
that's-
hat, no horse. Yeah. Optimize is going to turn his pair of fives into a bluff and win this one.
Well, Jesse is nothing if he's not speedy, as I've always said. We're on hand 79.
Still no big pair versus big pair.
I'm going to take a quick break only because my Apple Watch tells me I need to get up. Do you have that?
You need to be no, I don't have the Apple Watch on, but yeah, maybe you need to be more active on the broadcast. I could see.
You want me to do some push-ups while we're
Yeah.
calling that? Somebody bet me the other day at my age how many push-ups I could do.
TCH live stream.
At the over-under.
What was the bet?
It was 20.
There's
And-
no video.
And I said that's
Taco Bell.
not even. That's insulting.
Okay.
I mean, like,
How many
Taco
did you
Bell,
do?
like, you're gonna do
Well,
some
I didn't
sweet
have to
meat
because they wouldn't
so,
bet me.
you know,
Oh,
I
they
said, I'll
wouldn't.
do more than 20, and then they
you
backed
might
off.
lose some weight there.
I said, I'll do 20 in 60 seconds.
So I think it's
They're like,
just-
what?
You know-
Nah, yeah, I was absolutely full of it when I said that. By the
There's
way.
been videos on YouTube.
It takes me longer. It would take me longer than a
Guys
minute
being
to do
like,
20.
yeah,
So what should the over/under be?
I'd guess it at 35, almost 40. I don't do them in those. It's not
Yeah,
good
it's all-
for the shoulders.
Right. Yeah.
They get like the power
But
bowls,
I know
it's
that
just
I would have
like-
popped up my feet
it's like
onto a
tomatoes,
chair and,
lettuce,
done it.
onions, like they have
Knock
like a
that
grilled
out.
And then,
chicken, I think.
you know, spent the next day in
It's
bed.
like all they eat, you know.
All the chemicals go in their muscles.
Pair of kings wins it for
I didn't
yes
realize
here.
how many chemicals
No
were
real
in, like, the rice
resistance
and
from
beans.
fives.
It's like 20 ingredients for the beans.
You had it. It was up.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
I get like a cheesy bean and rice. Look at it's like literally like 100 ingredients.
You're gonna start growing all your food when you get your house, the backyard.
We're actually talking about it.
That Elgin soil.
It's solid.
And 80 coming up, but quickly we'll talk about quads of the day. Daily a $200 progressive jackpot, so 200 goes in each day with there's no winner. Got up over 3,000 recently. If you have quads or pocket pair and you make quads in a hold'em hand, you win. Or if you're dealt quads in your hand in a PLO or PLO bomb pot, you also are a winner
Yeah, we did. We got a really good
for
deal.
that
It's like-
specific
it's honestly probably like the
quads of the
cheapest
day.
one you
So
can buy in, like the Austin metropolitan area.
You didn't read the fine print on the disclosures.
No, we didn't. No. I read.
off
I
to a
read
king
every
high flop.
word of the contract
Nobody with a
twice
king.
before signing it. I
Optimize.
didn't see any disclosures there about like math.
Still good with a pair of threes.
Wow, that's not good to
He
hear.
and Yes at it again. They've clashed multiple times tonight.
Maybe it's becoming gentrified. You know, people like me moving in. You know.
Optimize probably contemplating folding or raising. And he's going to go the raise route. Knows that Yes is going to have a lot of bluffs there when he checks to him. So the check raise works. Nice play by Optimize.
Yeah.
Wins
And
himself
look at like the drug usage. You know.
170 in profit.
Like,
Now up
crime
over
stats,
2.6K. Just James in second, up over 1,000.
Down there.
I guess that's what I'm hearing.
Kevin and
I feel
Lottie
like
rounding out
methamphetamine is
the
drug of choice.
I feel like
folks turning a profit tonight.
Well, I'll let you guys know. I think we're going to have to buy home security.
Well, you have several neighbors.
Several neighbors?
Chris is going to get a little spicy here with the 5-3 suited. He is in position from the cutoff and is going to get
See, I feel
raised
like that's, like,
by
meth
the
country, I
tanks,
feel like it's like
held by
the country
Yes.
of Elgin, like where the manufactured homes are probably, on like the little plots of land middle of nowhere. Like that's probably meth country.
Yeah, you're in a new.
Nice win there for Yes with the 10s. Doesn't have to see a flop.
They still have to be introduced.
Yeah.
this wait for the Texas version of Walter White to come around.
Maybe it can be me.
Say my name.
I think there was just a reference to Breaking Bad, one of my favorite shows of all time, by the table.
Yeah. No, yeah. They do have the low main and super greens are being.
Not a big TV series person, but that was a captivating series. If you haven't watched it,
She
highly
doesn't eat,
recommend.
like, she only eats fish. She doesn't eat meat, like other meat, and she doesn't eat dairy. So she eats eggs and fish.
Pulled out a bunch of weekends here. Looks like a couple of
And then, like,
pocket
she'll
pairs.
eat, or
I
she'll
believe
eat, so
Chris
argument
either
for,
had deuces or may have folded deuces. Would have made a set. Hopefully he did not fold.
Like at the supermarket, like buying it yourself. But, like,
Appears that he did.
Is that like she doesn't feel like it's contributing to demand because like
Possibly a misread as he is in the one seat, but if he did have the deuces there, that's just brutal to let him go and miss out on a set.
Isn't that the whole idea? Is that like it does make sort of a difference?
veganism?
Yeah, well, just doing anything like it's like you could make that argument that you should do anything that is done over and over and over again because there's no reason to not do it since everyone is doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ace-9 suited for Chris. He's going to raise it up from the low jack.
Yeah, it's like my vote makes no difference. That's the same exact.
No action.
One of these days.
It's going to take down the blinds and straddle.
There's so many people already voting. What's my one vote gonna do?
Kenneth James says, just tuned in. Thanks for joining. Looks like Optimize is on a heater or playing great. Catch me up, guys. It is, I would say, playing great. He made a couple of very tough calls with top pair, top kicker on some scary boards versus Yes, and won some huge pots.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of got that with veganism.
Won several other
where I'm like,
medium-sized pots as well,
was like
playing
the stat that
quite well.
Vegans always talk about like dairy is a huge win because there's non-dairy everywhere, but like dairy
It's up
consumption
about
is still going up, like,
2.6K.
5% every year for the past like 5 years. And it's like, it just feels pointless. I hate to say it, but like it feels like a losing battle that's never going to be won.
We're on to our second to last PLO bomb pot here. We'll close the show with the PLO bomb pot. 9-5-6 on the top board, rainbow. Another rainbow flop on the bottom, deuce 4-5. See if anybody has the 6-3 or the ace-3
So I like that if I had $1 million.
or a 7-8.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
all good.
$1 million
7-8 for Barber.
Get you like
He has flopped the nuts on the top for the time being.
Honestly, you can't even really get that nice of a house in Elgin probably because they probably don't make them. But you could get you could probably get like a nice
some property.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You could get like probably 30 acres or something, 20 acres maybe. Actually, probably not even that much. You could probably get 20 acres actually in Elgin for $1 million with a manufactured home on it.
Bertram contemplating this $90 bet. He does have a pair and an open-ender, but lets it go.
Any of you guys been to Lake Somerville? Ever been out there?
Sorry for the extended break, but I was checking on the tournament that they just went to break, and they're after break, of course, it's a freeze out. So I was checking in with a couple of the players playing the tournament. Fun Monday night tournament that we give up just so we can entertain you.
Kind of wish we just would have.
No, we really enjoy this, and we appreciate everybody that's on. We've still got over 150 people on the chat. We'd love to see you press the like button. Hope you enjoyed tonight. We're on our 85th hand on the Ocho Cinco. Lottie just looked at us. He must think we're talking about him, which we're not. Till now.
There's a lot of good people out there in Elgin.
Yeah, we met a lot of good people.
You know, actually, I think from that seat, the TV is kind of behind that camera, so it's possible he's taking a peek at a game.
Crystal.
Yeah.
But it definitely looks like the person's looking at the camera.
He is a sports fan.
Initial rate.
Good. Some suited Broadways for everybody here. Lottie, Chris, and Just James. And Just James is going to win with a raise. Take down a small pot with his king, queen suited.
It really is like a nice little place.
Looks like we have a good shot to get to 100 hands today.
Definitely not as nice as Pflugerville, not as nice as Blackhawk.
About 40 minutes left with you guys.
Optimize leading the pre-flop raise statistic. Bertram, of course, being a little bit card dead the Knights, bringing up the rear. Makes sense. Optimize is one of those players that feels like if he's got a hand to play, he's got a hand to raise.
Had a good conversation with Optimize recently. He actually didn't start playing as long ago as I thought.
Really?
And shared that he had some, early struggles, worked on his game, and here he is, one of the best players we have on the stream.
Yeah, consistently. Yeah, I like playing. I learned something from him, his style of play almost every time we play together. He and Kevin are probably the people I pay most attention to at the table, to watch how they play, try to learn from their patience and their even-temperedness, which being Irish like you are, is not our strongest trait.
Top pair here for Barber. Bertram with a gutter. Does not get there.
Exact same new construction.
He is going to lead out, but I imagine this is going to be a pretty easy flat call for Barber. Does make the call. Takes down a $440 pot.
Been a little bit of a tough night for Barber, and definitely for Bertram.
Yeah, Barber was having a pretty good night. He just picked a very bad spot when he bluffed into yes. I think you may have taken a break during that hand when yes rivered a boat with the hand of the night, pocket sevens.
Yeah.
So it's just an ill-timed bluff that has kind of been the story of Barber's night so far.
You're really close to.
I'm 10 minutes from Samsung, you're 15 minutes from Tech Ridge. Like Dell, Apple.
Well, this is a tough crowd to bluff. Looks like Optimize is on a heater. Well, he's had great cards all night, Kenna. I mean, we've joked about him having ace-king like 5 or 6 times. He's had some other suited aces. He's made a couple of great calls.
Yeah,
both times with top. Somebody bluffed. Yes, bluffed him. Tried to bluff him twice. Couldn't get it by him.
Yeah, he has had definitely some, probably a little bit more than his share of good starting hands.
Premiums,
but I do have to say that, part of the question for Kenna is he playing great? The two biggest pots that he's won were tough calls.
Oh, yeah.
So although he did start the hand with ace-king, he was put in a very awkward spot both times.
Bertram finally takes a lead in the hand. It's not going to probably get much action out of Lottie. If he bets this, it's probably going to be. Well, Lottie let out, so he just calls.
4-bedroom house with a $20,000 credit.
Blank on the turn, deuce of
See if Lottie
spades.
continues his aggression here.
Accidentally paid $300.
Probably Bertram spends the least amount of time with he and Just James with Lottie, so maybe a little confusing to him. He's repping the diamonds. Pretty good kicker blocker for Bertram. He's going to make the call. See if Lottie fires a third barrel here. 2 complete bricks on the river in
Yeah,
turn.
it looks like Lottie gave up. He just checks over.
Exact same house.
Wow. Bertram actually going to go for a value. A lot of folks might just check that one back, but obviously we know Lottie's
Lottie
not calling.
folds faster than he can make the bet.
How far is Elgin from Austin?
So to Mueller.
Nice pickup there for Bertram.
Yep. On a night where it's been difficult.
Yeah, gets his stack back up over 1K.
Yeah. He bought in for 15, if I remember correctly. correctly, 1,500.
Bought in initially for 500, and I think
Oh,
he
that's right, he
rebought
did
for
short stack.
750.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so
he's close to even. He needs to probably win a couple more
We'll
pots.
root for him to get to even.
Yeah, it's literally gonna be like an hour if I want to come play here.
All junk cards go into the muck. Lottie's going to play his 8s. He's snowmanned it.
It's the first pair
And
of
he's
eights
not
we've
going to get
seen
any.
tonight.
He gets one caller out of Optimize, who has a very similar but not quite same suited hand. And the 7s come out, which has got to scare everybody.
These are so fun to watch on stream, actually. Both players with the same hand, see if somebody can actually win the whole pot.
Yep. Lottie's not going anywhere for $30. It's not going to be a big pot, but we'll see. Maybe Optimize will try to push it a little bit here with 2 overcards to the 8s. Nope,
Check,
nope.
check.
Check, check.
Both players
I got the
with
Steam Zola, though.
exactly
This
the
one
same
wins.
showdown
This is
value.
The better eights. That's the Steam Zola. The 8 of
Lottie
spades,
making a
eight of
case
hearts.
for why he should win this hand.
8 of spades, 8 of hearts.
His suits were better, he claims.
Yes, he does. He did have the top 2
Yes.
suits to the
How
club.
much TCH Live have you watched?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fan.
What's the story? Did he win?
Albert Ninos is rooting for Bertram.
Yeah, let's go Bertram. Let's go Bertram!
Bertram, a cute little city north of here. Not sure if there's any correlation.
The Bertramonians?
Is that what they're called?
I have
Bertramonians?
no idea. Maybe they're just called birds.
No,
call them
takes the
birds.
M out.
Birdites?
It's probably going to be close to where the full eclipse will be. Are you going to do anything for the full eclipse?
Other than, I think I'm going to put it on my calendar just to make sure that I ignore it.
You know, I hear there's 2 camps. There's people that are truly do not care, as yourself it sounds, and people that are really into it, like myself.
You're into it?
Yeah. It's such a rare occurrence that it would happen so close by.
Well, it's kind of like my sex life in that regard.
Fair enough.
I try to ignore that as well.
Try to ignore it. But yeah, I think I'm going to go up to Lampasas. That's where the
Is that where the main line is going to be?
Yeah, the full eclipse will happen.
Well, I started off my career out of college as a science teacher.
Everyone's been like,
And I very much liked to do the astronomical. I had a nice school-bought telescope.
Oh, cool.
And we'd go out and we'd look at partial eclipses, which only happened once while I was teaching. Very partial. And we'd go out in the evenings, have a couple of parents come with us. So to look at Jupiter, you could see Jupiter's moons, you could see the rings of Saturn real well. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, I think the rarity of an event doesn't pique my interest as much as it used to. I was on the road when the partial happened earlier this year.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
And it was just like not noteworthy.
The coolest thing about that, I should have.
Is this a full eclipse, by the way?
I'm sorry?
Is it going to be a full eclipse?
Full eclipse.
So will we have some of the eclipse here?
Yeah, we'll have some here. I mean, I assume it'll be probably 90% in Austin, but you have to go a little north to get the full eclipse. Albert has played with Bertram before. Nice guy.
Yeah, and he is a very nice guy.
Good to have on the stream. Had a better session last time I was here, but he's hanging tough. Just one good pot away from a profitable night.
Maybe it'll be our last bomb pot, and we'll scoop it. We'll definitely root for him on that hand. And we're approaching the last half hour.
So I have what's called a par rate. The par rate we got was 7, and we bought down to a 5.5. Some of the credit. So they gave us a 20.
Let's check very quickly. We're going to pick up a flush draw for the Queen 9 suited.
And rate buy down, and I think closing was
For KC.
He's two pair for yes.
Has 2 pairs, so pretty interesting turn here. Everybody with something. Quick call from KC with his flush draw.
Wow.
boat.
What is
Yes.
with the sevens?
It is the night of sevens.
It is the night of sevenology.
We've had sets of sevens and now trip sevens filling
Man's
up.
number. Did you know that?
Correct.
God's number is 3.
That's why they do it.
Man's
They wanna
number is
keep the
7.
value of the homes high.
I did not know that.
And you know the devil's number.
Do you know that one? I've actually
Like selling points.
been. They counted my chips one time. It ran up to the devil's number, and so I tipped a little extra to throw it off, so I didn't walk out of here.
Nice. I like it.
with that. And the pot was 777s. It's night of sevens.
So Leaf is saying that students are off school because of the eclipse A here in Toronto. So it's going to come across Toronto. Nice.
Interesting. Yeah. I saw a map of the path. But yeah, I'm going to have to go up to Lamp. I've heard, though, that it's going to be a traffic jam up there for that.
Well, in the words of
because like the rate was
sweet baby James, damn that traffic jam. How I hate to be late.
9-7 suited my favorite.
Well, you know what they
trash
call an eclipse in Toronto?
What's that?
You know what they call an eclipse in Toronto?
What's that?
They call it. Was that the question? What's that?
No, I'm asking.
I thought you said, "What's that?" Like you
no,
didn't hear
I
me.
don't know.
What's that? They call it winter.
Oh, winter. Yeah.
Sorry, that was my second dad joke of the night.
the interest rate was also higher.
Yeah, I
Get some
did.
short days
Spent
up
some
there.
time in Alaska briefly, and winter time is pretty much an eclipse, except for when the sun crawls over the horizon and goes back down.
I lived in Dallas for a year after college, and that was too far north for me. That's how much of a Central and South Texas person I am. No offense to any of our Dallas listeners. I will be there loving it tomorrow in the
Fort Worth.
beautiful
You can say
weather.
anything about Dallas, and it won't bother me. Just don't talk bad about my Cowboys.
We were pretty pleased with it. We were expecting it to be like pre-Canada.
A lot of good Cowboys up in Canada. They have a lot of great rodeos, a lot of good Cowboys.
I guess that makes sense. I heard an interesting stat about Canada. I suppose it's not that surprising the more you think about it, but 90% of the population of Canada lives within 100 miles of the U.S.
Yeah, that
Pretty
makes a lot of sense.
I would have assumed that most, but that's a staggering percent.
And the other 10% never gets naked.
Yeah, they're
Too freaking cold.
Those are some cold folks.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Ottawa. I love that town.
Got ace-10 suited
Gotta
versus
love any town that you can skate to work.
flush draw for Lottie. Nut flush draw.
Need to get you a mask. And you're all set.
He has the button as well, I believe.
Optimize
No,
comes in
Really
with,
long scarf.
Lottie is in +2.
Optimize, sorry. Optimize comes in with the middle
What are
pair.
they called? He'd have the like the metrosexual look. What's that called?
Fairly aggressive bet into this pot. Lottie's not going anywhere. He knows exactly what is. Actually, Lottie jams.
Wow.
What a play. I may go out and kiss him on his head for this one. This is so unusual for Lottie.
And you can see Optimize standing up in his seat considering calling with middle pair. And, you know,
I
it's
think
a
anybody
nice,
else he will, but not this one.
Yeah, the only thing is it does look flush drawish, the jam.
It does.
Somewhat like
That's what that is.
someone over jamming
Lottie
pre-flop with ace
explains
king.
his stack size very clearly in that classic Lottie voice.
Optimize is a big winner tonight. Might gamble.
Oh, are you talking about the poker player?
I like this move by
If
Lottie,
he-
but
it's
he
a great
picked the
move by
wrong
Lottie.
guy if he thinks it's going to be easy to get him to fold.
I'll just put this in. I'll probably.
But look at Chris. Chris is enjoying the heck out of this.
If Optimize calls, this would be 3 for 3 on great calls, although he has slightly less than 50% equity.
Yeah. Yeah, with 2 overs and the diamonds and a backdoor straight draw.
Last 30 minutes, I'll take a shot.
It's been fun to watch Optimize sweat through and think about some of these tough spots he's been in. It's definitely been right.
Chat
when
would
it
murder
counts.
me if I tank for no good reason.
Why are you trying to talk me out of that?
Wow, what an interesting situation for Optimize.
Okay. How much is it? 8?
What do you what do you do out here?
35.
I think it was 836.
I think he's going to call.
836.
Ones don't play.
Yeah, I'm torn right now. I think the equity is kind of on him folding.
Oh, you got one through, Lottie.
Oh, he folds. Nice move by Lottie.
But you know, if you're
Standing
thinking
a lot.
about
I
it,
wasn't eating a 7
that's
yet, but
another
you were
great.
eating a lot.
Great. Yeah, I mean, he was behind.
Yes,
Uh,
he made 2 good calls and a good fold. So he's 3 for 3 on that.
Sometimes I'm just impressed that somebody
We got a
considers a
scandal
spot,
here. He called out
even
my
if they
exact
end up
hand.
folding.
well, yeah.
You know, he was right in considering the possibility that his pair of sevens was actually good there, although he was slightly behind percentage-wise.
Yeah, Leaf, I know. Y'all got Cowboys all across the country. I mean, you got a football team called the Rough Riders.
It's verified.
So I don't even remember where that team is.
And that's the best
Calgary?
case scenario. You're
I think I
feeling.
wanna
That
say
sounds
Calgary.
right for some reason.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, I put the 20.
Leaf might correct us there.
Yeah, correct us, Leaf. What is the Canadian football team, Rough Riders?
'Cause I actually
Chris
got
is
away
going to
with
raise it up with a pair of
It's
fives.
the Toronto Argonauts, I want to say. So
That
it's not
sounds
Toronto.
correct also.
it. Can I double down?
I think that was Warren Moon's team before he came to the NFL.
Chris takes down a small one with this pair.
Fives have not hit tonight, but we've seen quite a few of them. It's been a great evening. Appreciate all of you. Once again, Jesse in the box, Mel, our producer, David, our executive producer, here in Austin for our 2-5 live stream.
I don't know, dude. I think
With
some
my
people would
buddy
call it
Kyle the Frisbee,
maybe
the
huge. Some
Wemmer.
people would call it the huge beer, dude.
I'm Uncle T.
Kyle Wemo Frisbee.
Although I may change my name in the next live stream to Uncle Riz.
That's a must.
Is it an Uncle Riz?
Yes.
You gotta just in
Uncle
in
Riz.
honor of Cody, who I played with
you
last
have
week.
that somewhat rizzy, if that's a word, photo for your little icon.
I do.
Like
my
Optimize
Belize
has here.
photo. Yeah.
And this is again ace king for Optimize. I've kind of lost count at this point.
It's gotta
I
be
think he's
7 times.
6 or 7 times. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, that board is nobody.
Very bricky
That's
board.
5 hands.
6-3-3.
It's like at the table.
That's his fault.
2 clubs.
This
Nobody
actually
with a
might
club.
get Lottie in a little more trouble. Well, he gets checked too. Now they're both chopping it. Ace high. No protection for his jack, and he doesn't need it because we're not going to go anywhere with this hand. Oh, Lottie bets into it. Of course, he thought he was good, and he bet it. Of course, he wasn't.
Ace king machine over there.
Quick call by Optimize.
Yeah, I think Lottie's a little surprised that flop didn't make Optimize bet. With ace king suited.
Oh, man.
I guess it's okay to talk about Optimize most of the stream since he's the big winner, but
Yeah.
it's also interesting to see him adjust to different players.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he's very good at that.
yeah.
He does play the player. He plays the position, he plays the cards, he plays the player, plays his own table image. Yeah, not a lot of weakness in that boy. And I hope he's not listening. I don't like to compliment him too much. He's like Kevin. I don't want to give him too much credit. Well, they deserve an awful lot.
Yeah, Kevin, a favorite to watch of a few people that I've met outside of the
Well,
booth
I
here.
think you said it one night. You said he's the most unknown, underrated player in Austin.
I think so. Yeah, he's a consistent winner.
He doesn't play those real gambly games, so he doesn't get some of the airtime or reputation. But I would stack him up against anybody.
Yeah, I agree. He's not going to be
hate to
a
say
dog in
nice things
almost
about
any poker game, and he shows us how to win one with tens there.
I do.
The
you
raise?
know how I can tell if I really, really have a lot of respect for a player?
Take a shot this time.
How's that?
I love to win hands against them. more than
Oh, yeah, it
average.
feels just a little bit better.
I know
Yeah.
that probably my hand of the year last year was my set of tens against Kevin's aces, where he doubled me up. Because winning significant amounts of money from him is so
It's
rare.
very hard.
It's
Yeah.
same with Doug, another player that we have. It's like Kevin actually said on a hand we played about a month ago, you finally got him. That's how I got him in 2 hands, which
Yeah, Doug.
I may have
Doug's hard
danced to the parking lot over that one.
get gotten.
Yes. Very hard players to extract value from.
I think we're going to have a set of 3s. I think I saw that quickly in the graphic before we moved to the different camera.
Yeah, it's a little difficult pre-flop to get all the hands viewed. The set of 3s just made a boat if that's the case. See if somebody has a queen. We do have a queen. Kevin has a queen. It looked like he
It's Lottie with the set of 3s.
I've done
We do
this
have somebody with 9.
And the only queen
No
I see
friends.
is KC's. Now he gets beat by a lot of things. Is there a jack? King? Yeah, King Jack has got him beat now on the bottom. Looks like this is not going to draw a lot of action because the boats are low. And very, very well connected boards.
Thank God.
Lottie is always expressing his true emotions.
Posing the suicide bomb bots again. That's where we checked through.
Ace 10 also got there for
cards back
Bertram.
and they put another ante in.
There's no suits, but that's almost impossible with King Jack.
I think it should be like if it
Yes,
checks
gotta
the
feel
dealer
he's
takes
good.
the full
Kevin,
pot.
what does Kevin have?
I agree.
He's got a naked queen.
It's 90.
Nothing else on the other board. He calls the 90. Lottie also makes the call. Bertram makes the call with the ace 10 of spades.
I have the boat on top. I've got the baby boat. 3's full.
And Lottie and
Baby
Lottie and
boat's
Chris are
gonna
going
be
to chop it up. I'm sorry. Yes, he's going to chop it up.
Jack's full of
Lottie.
kings.
Actually didn't look like that big of a pot, but for Lottie and Yes, they actually profited 180 each.
Yeah,
It's the beauty of
Of dead money.
yeah, if you can get multi-way like that, it's much more profitable if you end up chopping.
There's also 2 different flushes.
Obviously, the scoop is always the goal.
You
Or even
tell
just
him,
a-
Leaf. Let's get a few more likes up there. See if we can get to 150 likes. If you have not pressed the like button, we've asked you to do that. We appreciate it. Appreciate all the comments and all the action on the chat tonight as we wind down our last 15 minutes. It's always, dude, it's so relaxing and enjoyable to do this with you.
Oh, yeah. It's
I miss our boy
Great time.
Dante,
I look
though.
forward to it
Shout out
every
to
week.
Dante. Hope you feel good, brother. You know how much we love you.
Everybody makes it to the river and decides to like pot it as a
yeah,
bluff.
best wishes for Dante. Hopefully, he'll be back in the booth soon.
Yeah, I miss his face. Thought I'd never say that, but I do.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I got nothing on both.
I saw where he's considering trimming his beard or cutting it off. That would-
No.
I don't know if I would recognize
I
him.
don't know. If he shaves his face, I may never talk to him.
Yeah.
That's such a signature look.
Lottie's turn with the ace-king suited. Goes across the table from Optimized to his seat.
No messing around.
I told him when I first met him that I thought he should be the poker pirate.
Oh yeah, he could make a he could make a good pirate.
He's a poker OG, that's for sure.
Lottie gonna take down a small one.
Yep. Yeah, somebody else finally got ace king suited. I thought Optimize had the moratorium on that. Corner of the market. Yep. Oh, I thought it was Misdeal. Nope, Barbara just folded really quick.
Electrolytes with artificial sweeteners. I think that was the big mistake.
Bro, I mean, that's like I don't even know how you did that.
Yes, raises his queen 8.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like he's going to get any action. But,
couldn't
oh, Chris has
recover
got him dominated with the ace 9 of diamonds. Slow night for Chris, too. Not a lot of hands to play. And Optimize is, unless he turns the steel wheel, is out of luck. And, of course, I say that, he goes ahead.
Yep. 2 diamonds on the flop would have been really exciting. No such luck or the turn. spade draw gets there. Nobody with spades. Everybody with
nobody
diamonds.
even the right shade. Let's see if Yes reps a jack here. He does not. And of course, there are multiple sevens on the board.
Sevens
I
are
swear.
there. It's optimizes ahead. It's
Optimize has got a lock.
encapsulates the night in one small pot. Yes is going to bluff at it.
And he's
way
probably going to
over
get it
bet the
through.
pot.
You know, $300 into a $72 pot.
Optimize says he can't help himself.
If he makes this call, I'm going to run screaming out of the room.
Yeah,
I
I
love
thought
this.
the previous two were
Going
the
in the
call
tank
tonight
with 4
versus
deuce
yes.
diamonds.
If he calls this, this would be the hand of the
I'd
night.
say we run out there, we get on our knees, and we give him the,
yeah,
the hands. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, that would have been
yeah,
super
we
human.
would have to sing his praises and ask for an autograph.
You know,
if he-
that's a tribute to Optimize's poker game, that he hates losing a pot that he had $30 invested
Yeah.
in. That tells you everything about him as a player. That's hilarious.
Hand 99, the Gretzky hand.
Yep. Morning, Sap.
Yeah, good one.
Carl Edwards.
Dominican Sue, was he 99?
Well, I mean, I don't think I would
think
say
so.
I think he was.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm out of 99s with one.
Well, Carl Edwards, you wouldn't know Carl Edwards. He drove the 99 car.
I know the name. I would not
I
have
just
known.
have ace king again, and he shows me before he calls. He's like, yeah, do you see that?
Sorry, Lottie.
It was a good year, too. 99,
Oh, yeah.
that was a good year.
It's a game where you can't give up. Actually, no, you definitely can.
King 8, 10, 2
You
hearts
can sometimes.
on the flop.
Part of the game.
Just take a hiatus from you.
Flush draw for Optimize with a pair.
Yep. Kevin's got top.
You know, yeah.
Could have some fireworks here.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Bertram will get out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, I can't help myself a lot.
Optimizing
Can't help it. Just punt it off a lot.
the trailing position for one of the few times tonight. That is a different story. That,
Flush on the turn for Optimize. Actually, a royal flush draw.
yep, 9 or an ace gets him there. He's going to bet 200. Kevin's going to smell a rat and get out of hand.
This is the one time I wish we could rabbit hunt and see if he would have got the ace
Yeah,
of hearts.
yeah, yeah. Where's the rabbit hole on the table? Let's get that installed.
No, I bluff way too much in every game. Fine.
No one say anything.
Hand 100. We have made it, folks. As Uncle T
Every time I
said,
get called, it's
thanks
like, you're good.
everyone for joining us. We've had
Yep.
a great group watching all
Yep.
night.
Good players, full table. Life is good.
Except for when you river dip.
Jesse in the box.
That was
Except for that time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, that time.
It's all good.
It's tough for many people to get paid there.
Been a fairly talkative table too. Sometimes these things
yep.
can be a little bit like a, mortician's convention. Not
Yeah,
much
some
conversation.
groups can be quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how
What time does the 1-3 stream start on Thursday? Same time. We start at 5:45 with the stream starting at 6 o'clock on a 15-minute delay. I will most likely, barring, I don't know. There's nothing that'll bar it. I'll be playing on that. So join us at 6 for the start. Gretzky not committed anymore. No, he's a Californian now, isn't he? They took our double board PLO bomb pots away from us at Wynn Derby so they can rake more hands. Oh, boo. That is boo. So they can rake more hands. I don't get that. That didn't make any sense. Why don't you just take a percentage rake of a bomb pot, which is usually bigger? Yeah,
There
that
weren't.
makes no sense.
There was actually.
Optimize is going to 3-bet.
I guess it
and
slows down the number of hands, maybe.
Bertram finally, he's got the tonight. We'll just call it to optimize. He's
To
got ace
optimize.
king,
Because the stream crashed anyway.
and he just stuffs
The
it
stream ended up
and
crashing halfway through, so it was just as well.
has one of the shorter
I'm
stacks, but
suggesting maybe your VPIP crashed the stream.
Yeah, he's not going to get any
no,
colors.
nobody can call
But
here.
he got 150 out of KC.
Yeah, Kevin.
I'm sorry, out of optimize.
He's on such a heater is melting the cameras.
Creek is thinking about calling here, but he's going to fold. He's not getting paid.
How much did you win?
Really profitable jam there, actually, but
Yeah.
for Bertram, he's going to profit 342.
It broke after 2 hours.
Oh, you won like
Increases his stack by more than 30%.
Yeah, you did. I think you had like an 8K stack, didn't you?
Yep, getting close to breaking even if he's in for 1250 like you were
Yeah, I think if he-
estimating.
One more. And
It's not like he's had to pay a lot in tips.
yeah.
He's a good tipper, but he hadn't had a lot of opportunity. I wonder if Gretzky sounds Canadian anymore. He sure sounded Canadian when he was in the league.
Optimize raises up the king 10 off.
Married a good-looking blonde from California, that's for sure.
Made a good looking blonde that's now in Florida.
What's that?
He made a good looking blonde that's
Oh,
now in
yeah,
Florida.
is his daughter good-looking?
Oh, yeah. Paulina
no.
Gretzky, she's married to Dustin
yeah,
Johnson, the PGA
that's
Tour
right.
player, or now
That-
Live Golf
I
Tour
actually did
player.
see that. Yeah, she's not hard on the eyes.
Yeah. So got a gutter.
Well, her
for
mama was
Optimize.
gorgeous. I mean, Gretzky looks like, I don't know. He's not a good-looking guy. He was a rich dude. He might have made the top 10 Canadian richest people list. Past William Shatner, you know.
Was William Shatner up there?
Oh, yeah.
Well, now it's probably
He's
Justin
Canadian.
Bieber.
Is Bieber Canadian?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
I'm
I used
sorry,
to
I
like
know that.
Canada.
What's that?
I used to like Canada till you said
Yeah,
that.
I know.
I'm not a believer. A believer? A believer?
Not a believer. I
A
think that's
believer?
what they call it.
Yeah, sorry.
I would try to.
You think 50 cents a dollar?
Anybody that wouldn't stick around for Selena Gomez is an idiot.
I don't know if you could find enough eye rollers out there to support a 50-cent one.
I think if I go too high.
Hope
like
I'm not the
1%,
creepy
I
old
have
guy
to
saying
rest
that, but
security,
she's
so, you know.
adorable. I want to butter her head and swallow her whole. Razor is my own.
You can buy a lot of crack with a 1-2 buy-in.
Kevin's been a little quiet for a bit here. He's got a suited ace. KC, he's going to 3-bet Casey, who has ace-jack. Really not a fun spot for ace-jack. I don't love facing 3-bets with that hand.
For my wife
A
and I,
little bit overrated.
He is going to come along.
Creek hadn't had a lot of hands to play either, so.
2 to flop. Kevin looking for a 9 or some clubs, and gets the 9 in the window.
Wow.
Gutter for
Kevin, yeah.
KC. Yeah, he needs a
Draw. No space for either
It's an
one
8.
of them.
where do you perform?
No, I started writing a little bit.
Blank
ago.
on the turn with the deuce of diamonds.
I just went to Barrel of Fun.
Oh, that's awesome at Mothership. I was there like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's
Or
called
bottom of the barrel.
It's something. It's,
Bottom of the barrel.
we
At
talking
the
about
Mothership,
Mueller?
right?
No.
Yeah, this is one of these things I said say about
I think it's called
Kevin
Barrel of
is
Fun.
inaction on your part draws action from
Really
you.
good at that one. I like the
Yeah, and this
You
is just
check it, he will bet it next round.
Austin comic. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Casey lets it go. Nice play from Kevin with the worst hand pre-flop. Obviously out-flopped him.
Yeah, we're gonna start going to see more
Yeah.
comics.
Not the strongest hand on a
Kevin
7, 9,
unfortunately
10.
missed the boards quite a few times tonight with his decent hands.
Everywhere. They got Creek and Cave. is
I
really
say
good.
Kevin, Creek, Kevin Creek.
Obviously, the Mothership, Joe Rogan's comedy store. Yeah, it's hard to get tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear the table talking about the comedy Mothership opened by Joe Rogan downtown. I have not gotten to go yet. I would like to.
That was cool as fuck, dude.
Yeah, I didn't know he opened a meeting shop. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's supposed to be crafted to be the best comedy club in, well, country or the
North
world.
America.
State of Texas, you're
I don't, are comedy clubs even a thing elsewhere? That's such
Yeah.
an American thing.
Oh,
You know, there's not like a lot of
If I don't
foreign
care about the
stand-up comedians.
there's only a few countries that
Maybe Japan. I could see that being popular.
Yes, there's a few spots. I think, yeah, Japan. Ireland,
Probably not unheard of.
England,
Yeah, I can see England. Yeah, definitely England. There's some great comedians come out of there.
and Germany also. I
I'm a
think
big
has.
Ricky Gervais fan, so yeah, I can see Germany.
No one would be upset if you guys.
But yeah, you're right. It's not
10%
yeah,
uncapped.
a huge thing. And I think Australia
That's what
has.
they run.
There's a
I went out
few.
to Puerto Rico.
Comedy, I think, is pretty prevalent in
Yeah.
Australia also.
All the casinos in Puerto Rico are 10%.
Top pair here for Lottie, to the river, and the fourth heart
That's how they are in
comes.
some of the Asian places.
It's going to kill the action. Check,
I
check.
think it's like
Lottie's
5
good.
or 10% uncapped. Someone was telling me.
How's 5%? But there's
The New York Knicks
I think it's
takes
like
another one down.
$25 USD cap.
Exerting his dominance on the table.
Someone was telling me
Let's see. Don't know if he would sign my jacket if I see a 99. If see 99 in the streets.
510 in France.
Why wouldn't he? Lee?
And
What
say
are you?
have like a $5,000
What are you?
pot.
Flames
They're
fan or
raising
something, or
$250.
Canadians?
Oh, yeah, maybe the wrong
Oh,
jacket.
yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, he probably wouldn't sign a Leafs jacket. I'm a Dallas Stars fan, so
They were
former
nice.
season ticket holder. Hardest thing about moving out of Dallas,
They thought-
giving
they
up my
thought they were
season
Just like
tickets.
sponges, right?
Have you
Like,
been
like
to the
sponges.
Cedar Park Center for their?
I have not.
Looking to absorb.
So I'm not a hockey fan,
Their
as
headphones
most
on, you
born
know,
and raised native Texans are, because it just wasn't around. Nothing against it, but
I'm a sixth
It's like,
generation
dude, you can't
Texan.
beat
That's
the
a
game.
hockey fan.
really.
Yeah.
You have to travel 3
But
miles.
yeah, I've gone to a couple of games there. And great time.
Oh yeah. Well, see, that's the thing, is we had the Dallas Blackhawks and the Fort Worth Texans, which were low-level minor league teams for the Dallas Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings. So, I mean, not the Dallas Blackhawks, Chicago Blackhawks. So I grew up watching hockey at Amon Carter Arena, or Will Rogers Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. And at that level, it's like a hockey game breaks out in the middle of a fight. It's mostly a fight. A lot of drunk Texans, you know, who like to watch fights.
I don't know if that client is just Michigan.
So
New Jersey and
I grew up with hockey, and it was like $4 to go watch.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Pennsylvania's talking
and they were notorious in Fort Worth for serving alcohol to underage minors, which at the time
see
was
that.
under 18. And when I grew up, it was 18 years to drink.
Really?
Yeah.
What year did that change?
1942. No, I'm joking. Oh gosh, let me think. Because my girlfriend had her drinking rights taken away from her when they went to 19, and then taken away from her again when they went to 21. So I would guess it was somewhere in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like 17.
Because I never remember a time that it was. Of course,
Yeah,
when I
I
was a small
could
kid, I
drink
wouldn't know.
at my second semester as a senior in high school.
You get,
Actually,
they give you free food.
Louisiana has
Yeah, I've heard you
changed
get, like, free
since
steaks.
I was over.
It's a nice.
I'm sorry,
That's
over
I've only heard
18.
They take it back down to 7.
No, it's back down to 7. Yeah, I believe it's 21 now.
Yeah, yeah. I think pretty much nationwide is 21 now. Because we talk about that a lot in the military world, that our soldiers can fight and die,
Right,
but not
but they
drink.
can't come.
Yeah,
back
which
and have-
confuses everybody in Europe.
Man, I wish I could run a private game in Allen.
That is a confusing dichotomy.
Yeah.
We got Ace Queen for Bertram,
Do you live out there? No, but you want to come deal the
a
price.
3-bet ahead of him from Lottie.
Eve says Gretzky's a snub.
Oh, I'm not gonna ring.
I've actually heard that
I'll
he's
rake
a pretty
10%
arrogant
probably
fella.
$10 or something.
He
Too
folds.
ugly
Bertram
for that.
folds the best hand. He had the dominating ace.
It's a lot for 50 cent $1 or 1 2.
Well, people are scared of Lottie. Kevin
Yeah,
folded.
Lottie-
Everybody folds around to the New York net. They know that aggression is scary.
Yeah, and he's going to play Ace Queen out of position against a self-proclaimed nit.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
Kevin
can't blame
essentially
him.
folded the same hand he raised him with at Ace 8, Ace 9. So, yeah, they showed him a little
Nice
respect.
spot there for Lottie.
A little riz for the Lottinizer.
Optimize now leading the V-Pips. Takes over KC. 37%.
Would you play
See
2-5
most players with a
with a bunch of
profitable range. You know, of course, it depends on the variance of your holdings that night,
people that
but
are probably
somewhere in the 22 to low 30s.
Yep. Yep. So we're fast approaching the end of our night. A couple of minutes left. In our highest number for in the chat or in the watching the live stream, we'd like to ask you if you just joined us or joined us recently to please press the like button so we can get to 150 likes.
Value is a value checker is.
No, section.
And we're wrapping it up with the bomb pot as we are wont to do, as we always do. So the live stream will probably, the table will continue long after we're off the air, but we appreciate it once again. Thank you, Kyle. I enjoy it. It's always very relaxing for me, and I don't lose money, so I appreciate a night of poker without that.
It's the most consistently profitable type of poker that you can possibly play.
Yeah.
Talk about it and watch other people duke it out.
Yeah.
Now, always a great time with you, Uncle T. Hopefully we will be doing this again soon. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Had a good crowd tonight.
Yeah.
Good game. Hope you enjoyed some of the ill-timed bluffs, the sets of sevens we've seen.
And the amazing calls, some amazing folds.
Ace-king for optimize every other hand.
And the dominant hands were sevens.
Looks like everybody kind
We
of
had a
getting
couple
out of
of
the way
threes
here.
out there that didn't connect. Looks like only the threes are left standing. And is Barber going to take the top with the naked 9? Looks like.
The 9 is good. Wow.
But he got out kicked on the threes, so it's going to be a chop.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Kenneth James will close it out. Says, great job as always. Thanks for the commentary. Well, thank you for chatting and everyone for listening now and in the future on YouTube. We'll look forward to being with you again.
Yeah,
very
we'll see
soon.
you again later down the road, eh?
Thanks, everybody.